Saying a different name though. Because I'm here. Hmm. That's it. No. Hmm. Here we go. Is that you? Yeah, yeah, it is. You got my picture on there though. Yes, Sister Renata.
Yeah. Hey. Mhm.
I'm good. You popped up in here. Did so I don't know how to change that one. I was just trying to change your picture because it has my face on it right there.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You
Awesome.
have to change the picture on your side.
I have to change the picture. What does it have on it?
It
I
was
don't
not
know.
sh- it's not showcasing you on the camera. That's why.
Oh,
It,
okay. I don't have my
yeah.
camera on. I didn't put my camera
Yeah.
on. I'm not stage ready yet for
No, no, that's fine if you're not stage ready. I'm just saying the logo that's showcasing on here is showing my face instead of your picture. So that's fine. It's just now you'll be able to see it
oh,
next
okay.
time.
So okay, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it
Yeah.
out at some point. Like I told you, I feel like an ex-boomer, so I'm like,
Nah, you
I know
good.
we're not doing generations, but just to let you know, I'm in that in between space. So
Yeah,
sometimes
I am
things
too.
are slow, but I do figure it out eventually. So it's like, okay, when I figure it out, it's
Hmm.
like, oh, professional. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, nah, you good. Yeah, this part two start
Why the
seeing.
live stream? Why did the stream end? Oh my goodness, it ended on
Yeah,
Instagram.
I ended it on there because it was. So I had to start it over, so I have to restart it with a new key. It's weird like that, but
Okay.
yeah,
I don't know what to
just if
change
it
this to.
ever,
Let's
yeah,
see. Let
whenever
me
you
change.
go out, you don't hit the end stream button. You just hit the other back arrow button. So,
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Cool. Yeah.
but it still should work on my end. Matter of fact, I do need to change the key because it is not streaming. There we go. All right, it is connected, and hopefully we're good to go. Yeah, had to. Yeah, all good, all good. Mhm. Yeah, that's part two. Gotta get it together. Some reason now it's not popping up on my. Some reason it's not popping up on the Instagram now. Don't worry, folks. We're gonna get together. Okay, hopefully it does pop back up. If not, then it's all good. We're not gonna worry about it. But everybody's still live on TikTok and all the other platforms, so we're still there. But yeah, let me go back. So trying to find the videos that I did have that I was watching, and they were nowhere to be found. That's crazy. These are the videos that I was highlighting for the actual show. So they're not on here. I have them in my history. So, oh no, it was in a backpack. Okay. Yeah, it was in a backpack. Got so many just like stored in the backpack. Stored in the backpack. But yeah, I wanted to bring up your video that you had sent me. That was all right. So
this is Anne Marie, the anti-HR lady. And in this video, I'm going to give you a quick hot take on why so many employers want to hire more H-1B workers. Okay. Now, this video has been inspired by the brouhaha taking place over comments made by President Elon Musk and his sidekick, Vivek, whatever his last name is, right? But I'm going to just give you a quick take on what I think is really going on here and shed a little light on why President Musk and Vivek want to push the idea that more H-1B workers need to be brought into the country in an administration that's claiming that it wants to deport people. Okay. I don't know what, Vice President Trump thinks about it, but I definitely think it's very interesting that this is the take that both President Musk and Vivek are taking. And I think Americans need to understand, and they have a right to be upset and concerned. But I do think that it's good to understand what's really going on here. Okay. So as always, at the root of these things are money, who makes it and who gets exploited. Okay. In the workplace. And I'm going to shed a little light on my experience dealing with H-1B workers and working with companies that have hired them, and what I learned about what the real motivation often is relevant to this. Okay. And this is based on my experience. Some people may have different experiences. I'm just sharing my experience. Okay. So I'm going to start by telling you a little story, and then which will illustrate what I'm talking about. Okay. So during my career, my time on the plantation, as I like to call it, I worked for international development company, and I worked for several international development companies. I spent a significant part of my career in the international development sector, in the nonprofit international development sector, okay? Working for companies that were carrying out work for the US government in foreign countries all around the world. And I was working at a company, and when I came into the company, they were doing a lot of reorganization, and I was brought in to help with some of the reorganization. But one of the things I observed was in their finance department, a majority of their staff were Chinese immigrant. Not hard to find American workers who are experts in accounting. So I found it odd that in this company, they had an office that was predominantly staffed by Chinese immigrant workers. Because I always say you can throw a quarter down K Street in Washington, D.C., where this took place, and hit about 5 accountants. But what I learned when I did a little digging was that this company had laid off its entire accounting staff a couple years before my arrival. And then they had hired an accounting firm to take over their accounting for about a year and some change. And then they decided to rebuild their department, hiring a new CFO who was overseeing what I was observing, a Latino gentleman at the time, and hiring a new staff. And one of the reasons that they waited a year plus to even make new hires was because I think, in my opinion, they were trying to defend against any claims of wrongful termination and discrimination, because the majority of the accounting staff that they had laid off were African American, right? And then they brought in new staff who then made hiring decisions. The person who was doing much of the oversight of the accounting department was a person, Chinese American, American citizen of Chinese descent. And this person decided, along with the CFO, had the novel idea of going to the accounting school of accounting at a particular university that I will not name, and recruiting newly graduated students who were on student visas, right, to come work in the accounting department and to then sponsor them with H-1B visas. So these people were literally coming straight out of accounting school with no with no work experience beyond what they had learned on the job as students. Some of them may have done internships. Some of them were interns in our office. So they're bringing them in as interns, training them, and then giving them H-1B visas, right? And one of the things that the law around H-1B visas requires is that you must certify as an employer that you have sought to hire an American citizen, could not find qualified American citizens. So I found that the person in HR who's processing these applications must sign this certification. That certain person would have been me in that role. And so as I was observing what was going on, I was very uncomfortable with the idea of signing off a statement that claims we couldn't find accounting staff, because, as I said, accounting staff are not hard to find in Washington, D.C. So I started making inquiries as to why only Chinese American students were being given the opportunity to be interns in this department and then sponsored with H-1B visa. And it became very clear to me that the CFO, who left not long after my arrival, had come up with the idea that if they could hire these students as interns, they could bring them in as entry level, as the H-1B process does require that you pay a person market rate, but it doesn't mean you have to pay them at the top of the market. So if your market range is, say, $35,000 to $50,000, you could hire all of them at 35 and then give them incremental raises over time. But you're starting them out at the very bottom. While if you hired an accounting person with even a little bit experience, you would probably have to offer them at least $40,000 to $42,000. This is just illustrative, right? So they came up with the idea of hiring all of these people, the idea that they could provide internships. She spoke Chinese, so she could go and recruit people. And then they recruited their friends also from school. And so they had built a pipeline of Chinese immigrant students only, and were bringing them into the accounting firm. So pretty much everyone in the accounting department was Chinese immigrant. And then they had the oversight of this person. And that did not sit well with me. First of all, it was a violation of the law, because you're lying about your ability to recruit and hire American citizens, because you're not even trying to find American citizens to hire, right? And you're not giving anyone else an opportunity to even participate from other universities. You're not going around to other universities and recruiting interns or anything. You're only recruiting from this specific program that has a significant amount of Chinese immigrant students, and then pipelining them into this department. So to make a long story short, I put the kibosh on all of that. Oh, they didn't like me. They were not happy about that at all. But by the time I left there was a diverse number of people in the accounting department. There were still, Chinese immigrants, but then they were also had to open up their recruitment to other schools and identify other students who were from accounting departments. And we ended up hiring I believe we had ended up hiring a Black American who we hired, a student that out of school who was African. There was a white young man that we hired who came in, and other people that we hired, and also opened up the internship program so that other students from lots of different universities and backgrounds had an opportunity to compete for these jobs, right? People were not happy about it, but I did not care, because my interest was being in compliance with the law first and foremost, and allowing for diverse hiring and giving people equal shots at these opportunities at jobs in an accounting department. Okay. But what I'm trying to explain is that employers, and if this is happened in a nonprofit organization, and this is not isolated. I worked in another company that was also a nonprofit who was also using the H-1B process. And the reason that nonprofits can use this H-1B process so easily is that a lot of them can get what we call a waiver, where they don't have to participate in the lottery system. There's a lottery system that a lot of employers have to participate. And if they don't get a high enough lottery number, they can't make the hire, right? Nonprofits and certain other types of organizations can get a waiver so that they can hire an H-1B worker anytime they want to, and they don't have to participate in the lottery system. I participated in helping one of my employers get a lottery waiver so that they could hire H-1B visa workers. So I do know about that process. And I also participated in lots of recruitment and hiring of H-1B workers, right? And so it became very clear to me is that a lot of employers like the H-1B worker program, not because it allows them to hire, highly skilled, qualified people that they can't find in America, but because it allows them to hire highly skilled, qualified people that will take a lower salary at entry and will not leave their jobs. And that's the key thing. The thing you need to understand about the H-1B program, as it was when the last time I was working in this sector, right? And I haven't worked in the nonprofit sector or in any corporate sector for about almost 4 years now. But when I was doing it, the visa belongs to the employer. The employer is applying for the visa. The employer is receiving the visa. Through that visa, they get to hire X employee. If the employee leaves the job, they lose their visa. It's just like a student who gets a visa to go to school. Once they graduate, they usually get a certain number of months to find a job where they will be sponsored, or they must go back to their country of origin. Okay? So a lot of students will apply for jobs and ask for sponsorship. You give them an H-1B visa, that person is locked in. Okay? They're not going to leave because you have to keep reapplying to renew the visa. But as long as you can show that you still need the person and that you couldn't find a replacement for them with the same skills, you can keep them. It's not hard to justify. Once you get it approved, it's not difficult to get it renewed. Okay? At least it wasn't all the times that I did it. I don't know, whether that's going to change under Trump. But since, President Musk wants to use more of these people, I assume that it's going to become easier to hire them, not harder. So I believe that the reason that people like President Musk and Vivek and others in the tech and other industries that make billions and billions of dollars want to hire more H-1B workers is not because American workers are lazy. It's not because these workers are superior to American workers. It's because it's a type of indentured servitude, is how I thought of it, that you can hire people at a lower salary in terms of, yes, you're hiring them at the market, but you're hiring at the low end of the market. And those people are less, they're paid around promotions and all these different things because they want to keep their visa. If they get fired, if they get terminated, they lose their visa. So these people keep their heads down. They work hard. They don't ask no questions. They don't have no, even though they have rights, most of the times they don't know anything about their rights. And even if they don't know them, they're not going to exercise them because why? They don't want to lose their visa. So of course, there's going to be a preference to hire somebody who you can hire and you don't have to worry that they're going to leave, that they're going to quit, that they're going to come in at an entry level, learn everything there is to know, and then leave and get a job that's going to pay them more. They're not going to do that, what American workers can do, because if they leave, they lose their visa. So when you hear these discussions by billionaires and millionaires about hiring more of these workers, understand what is really going on, what the real reason is that they want to be able to hire more of them, right? And it's to disadvantage American workers even more. And this is what all those people that voted for the Musk-Trump ticket voted for. But I'm giving you a heads up because some of these things are going to impact all of us as workers and Black people. Because first hired, first fired, last hired. Now how that goes. So if you are in the tech industry, if you are working in these sectors, this is something you might want to call your senator, call your congressperson, raise a little hell about. I know people raising hell all over social media, but raising hell on social media don't mean nothing. But just be aware that if these people get their way with all this, government reorganizing and their office of whatever optical bullshit name they gave it, some big waste of money department that their government efficiency office, my bad. Just understand what this is all about. This is about shifting taxpayer dollars to already wealthy people, shifting more taxpayer dollars and tax benefits to billionaires so that they can make more money at a cheaper rate. If you can hire more H-1B workers, worker costs is going to go down. Your salaries are going to go down because you can hire them all at entry level. Even people who are qualified multiple years of experience, they still offer them less because they're paying for the rationale is I'm getting you a visa. I'm getting you over here. So you could take this lower salary. It's in the range. So you're adhering to the regulation, but they're not paying them at the high end that they would have to pay an American worker. So their workforce cost is going to go down. That's what's at the root of this. So don't let them be on social media trying to okey doke on you and telling you all these other reasons. Vivek is trying to walk back what he said. People need to stay on his neck, but people need to understand what this is really about. And it is not about their superiority to American workers. It's about money. It's always about money. Just follow the money. I hope this tip and this little, insight and my take on this is helpful. I just feel that we need to be more educated as American workers about H-1B visas and how it works and what it's really about. So I hope this has shed a little bit of light based on my experience with it about why some employers like to hire these kinds of workers. As always, this is Anne Marie, the anti-HR lady. HR is not your enemy, but it's definitely not your friend, but I am. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Yeah, shout out to the sister. Shout out to the sister. Anti-HR. So that's her channel. So I want to throw that alley-oop up to her because it's getting real out here, It's getting real out here. It's just not something that we can just keep avoiding or not really pay attention to. It's like, no, this stuff really going on. This stuff really going on. And then to be acting like surprise. Hey, this is how I got kicked off. This is how I got kicked off. All these people they're trying to bring over here to come and work or do anything in that fashion. It's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be an interesting time. We're going to start seeing all of these people really showcase themselves. Shalom, beloved, you there?
Yeah. I had to do one of those full reboots here. So I'm like, okay, let's just start from the top. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just played the video that you sent me.
I know, I saw it. It is amazing. Okay. That's a wonderful thing to discuss. I am looking that is because I was thinking about are we on?
Yes, we are. So before you even run down, I wanted to let everybody know this is Sister Renana on here right now. and she sent me the video about anti-HR sister speaking on the matters with the Indians and the immigrants of all nationalities being able to come into America and do they thug thizzle out here. So I definitely wanted to allow you to have a stage to be able to elaborate on all the stuff that you heard with the video, because I think it's very important that we are able to elaborate on the information that was posted up within here, because it's important, it's vital that
System here in case there's to share.
it's important. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
here. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm just checking into this thing. I hope this microphone works. If nothing else, I can
No,
try
you're
to
good. You're good.
No,
You're good. Don't
but
touch nothing.
no, I'm just saying in my background, if anything else, I can get a microphone to work. That's what I will do. You know what I'm saying? It's
Gotcha.
like that's one of my natural skills. No, we
Yeah.
just work. Okay. Okay, so about that anti-HR lady.
Yes.
First of all, I woke up this morning and I saw that video, and it was like it was sent directly to me. It's like, this is what's going on. We're just gonna let everything be exposed.
Mhm.
I got this serious feeling. You know, I'm a spiritual person, so I'm with y'all there, studying with you
Yeah.
and all. So I'm like, okay, this is going on with what the gut feeling is saying, and I'm wondering how many people have the gut feeling that 2025 is going to be that year where stuff is just going to be exposed, right? It's going to be shown inside and out, and they ain't going to be able to stop it. It doesn't matter what they think about it; it's going to just happen, right? So he's in control of all of it. So I'm not worried about that part. The part I am thinking about is that, oh my goodness, a sister actually got the memo, and decided to do what was in her wheelhouse to do. She's not trying to convert nobody to nothing. She's not trying to make nobody do no extra stuff. She's just discussing this actual thing that pertains to her wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
And I go, okay, cool. She kept it together. I really loved her delivery because she's very, very, very HR about it, very business-like. And her motto is like, HR is HR doesn't hate you, but friend. That's what it says, right?
Yeah.
So HR never after you, but they're not there to get anything better. So HR is not there to help you get more money. They're not there to help you get more respect on your job. They're not here to advocate for your promotion. They're just there to make sure you come in, you get your paycheck, and you're not stiffed any money or something. If that, they'll send you over to payroll for that. And then they'll just like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, they're just one little piece of the puzzle of the whole thing. So when people go on jobs, that's why I want to discuss working in corporate America. If people go to their HRs thinking that their HRs are going to advocate for them or give them some kind of resources to fight for their jobs, no, they're not. They're trying to get your American ass up out of there right now. And don't be black. So you know that, if you black,
Exactly.
you last hired, first fired. That's the way it go, right?
Yeah.
So she covered that in this whole thing. The H-1B visas. I worked in Silicon Valley, and
Oh, really?
I mean, deep in Silicon Valley. I mean, I'm there with the people who were in the garage at HP, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm like up in semiconductors and shit, right? I worked the inside of a hardware computer. Okay, I knew how to 13. I was like making computers on the side and selling them and shit, right? So I was one of those people. So it's like I was deeply entrenched in Silicon Valley. These people are so duplicitous and full of crap and all kinds of stuff, man. You run that gauntlet, you can handle anything. And don't be hood like I was over there in Oakland and stuff. No, we know about some G stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Don't think we don't know. I've been to a party or two. I know what y'all was doing, right? At the same time, together and got that job, I was like, I gotta go over here and figure out what they doing over here because they messing with our heads. you were talking about how in the previous live stream, you were talking about it just being out there, people just out there and they're just showing all their stuff. All their stuff. It's just out there. Like I said, I saw this coming a couple decades ago when they started putting Facebook up and stuff. Oh, here we go. They did exactly what we didn't intend for them to do. Because when we were working at HP, we were like, we just want these things to calculate fast enough for you to be able to go home to your family and talk to them, right? We thought people were going to do their work, hurry up, and go home.
Yeah.
That's all we thought people were going to do. We didn't think people were going to be sitting on there with their wives and making little AI avatar, robots to come over and service you while you're playing your Call of Duty and stuff like that. What the hell? We didn't
feeding you grapes.
Exactly, right? And fan you on the side. To say we were not thinking that people were going to be this mentally entrenched in it. You know what I'm saying? Like just really just locked down mentally in this. So we never thought that this was going to happen. So that's why I like this lady. It seemed like she was custom sent to me, and the most I was like, okay, baby, put this out. You're talking over here to Brother Prime. He gonna put it out. Just put it out, right? And so this H-1B discussion came up with, like she said, President Musk, right? That was hilarious.
That's hilarious. When I caught it, I was like, oh man, she might be actually right about what she just said right now, because the way Elon Musk just came in with the big draws.
He just said that. Vivek.
Yeah, sidekick.
That's
Vivek.
So funny. Like a little horse, Gumby and Andy or something. Right? It's just like stupid. Like I went all the way back there. You know what? Shout out to the silent generation. I know we're not doing the generations thing, but come on.
Yeah.
The elders are fly. Okay, y'all actually taught us how to handle this right now. And considering, I'm in that, that seasoned, mature women phase. I know about these
fine wine. Your fine wine, you get better in time.
Black on crack, y'all know that.
But like you were saying earlier, with the HR department is litigation managers. They manage not having to go to court over doing something, over complaints and things like that. So you're starting to see them. The fact that we have people who look like us in these departments, just like I just showed the video that I just showed you, the article with the whole room where they were all Indian. And I'm just like, hey, keep that same energy when you start seeing all black and beautiful, because the whole corporatizing of, there was no arguments before. And even if we brought it up, y'all told us to shut the hell up, and then you fired us quietly, or you separated us as people to where, it's two people, it's two black people here. Oh, we got to split them up, And so we've had to run into so many different of you guys' snares and traps, and that the fact that chickens are coming home to roost, and you're seeing, like I said yesterday, the companies are all falling apart. I've driven across this whole country and I've taken video of many of these companies closed down. All of these small towns are all closed down. They're all empty because all of their kids, they told their kids to go to school, and their kids went to school in the most public area because they have to be public. They have to be seen. So they're not going to be living out in the middle of the grass field. No, they're going to go where it's hot, and they're going to go where it's popping. And so when they got older, there was nobody there. So because of that factor, they have ran out, and they overindulged on being lazy and lethargic. That's why I keep bringing up the 7 deadly sins, because now they're starting to see one of the last ones, which was slothfulness. They don't think that they don't think that they're not superior, that they could be lazy fat asses and they're still superior.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they actually work with. I don't want to give the woman's name, but I mean, if you heard this woman's name, you would understand why she was such a mediocre. Okay, just her Okay, I'm not going to say her first name. Her name is even worse than her last name, but I'm going to tell you her last name. Her last name was DiMaglio. Okay. She was one of my managers, Leo. Okay. Think about this. That is Italian for the magnificent. Like, so she just thought she was the shit, right? So, and she actually treated us like she was the shit, right? And we had to answer to her. But this woman all day would be calling me over to her office, the newest hire, the one that came over as a contract worker, to come over and help her navigate her computer because she didn't know where to go in the new software got rolled out. BIE, you are paid how many grand more than I am every day? You asking me to navigate your damn ish right now so that you can look good in front of the VP and I can still be sitting over here working and trying to get my manager to stop treating me like I'm stupid, right? So, yeah, thank you. No, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm going to tell you again. Let me make you a little cheat sheet here, okay? I'm right here by your computer. Follow this thing next time, okay? Before you call me, right? I had to start distancing myself from her. And she's like, if you don't help me, I'll just take you over to HR. See, this is what you have to go through when you're an American worker. These H-1B workers won't even say nothing. They'll just keep going in there every time you call them. They'll just keep doing it. They'll think that it's part
because
of
they're
their
on
job.
the hook. They're on the hook they're on the hook for being kicked out. So of course they're going to deal with whatever they feel like they have to deal with because their level of experience in this country doesn't supersede their need to want to, their desire and thirst to want to be in the country. So whatever they got to deal with, they're willing to deal with it because whatever they get told no and they rise up and buck up, they're gone. They can't rise and buck up like that. They needed to get at least 1 or 2, 3 generations under their belt to even feel like they have some type of American seniority to be able to even speak as they are speaking, like Vivek Remix. But no. But
and so that was a great, that it gives you the background as to what they're doing. It's not that we're mediocre. She was living in DC, where it's chocolate city out there. Okay, you got everybody is black and everyone is professional. Everyone knew what they were doing. Wasn't nobody foul over there, at least in the core area where people were working. Right? People were tight. People knew what they were doing. I've been to DC. I love DC. I love that whole area, Maryland, and all that stuff. I love it. There's highly intelligent people. You wasn't gonna get no people. No, I don't know where they talking about media. I know where they're talking about mediocres. We're talking about them. You know what I'm saying? Getting together, hiring their nephew and their little sister, and they, you know what I'm saying? They hiring their own people, and they're mediocre. They are mediocre. You know what I'm saying? And so
very much so.
Dang. And so I'm like, dude, but the best and the brightest got to be fighting and.
For scraps.
If it wasn't for scraps. But here's the thing. I did get a little nudge up to a higher position from a Southern white man, but I think he was one of these Southern white men who was rebellious to his family. And so he wasn't as racist as everybody because it was rebellious to his family. You know what I'm saying? So he was cool with black people, right? So when I interviewed, he's like, ooh, you're way too intelligent for this position you're applying for. Would you like to consider this other position, which was a much more technical, higher paying position? And I go, oh my God, a white man that just offered me, why? You know, so I checked it out and I said, oh, well, dang, I can do this in my sleep. It's cool, right? So I walked up in there, got that job. Ooh, that Asian woman that was working up in there who was my manager, she detested it.
Wow.
Because that position was supposed to go to another Chinese person. That's supposed to go into her funnel. It didn't go to her funnel. I got put in by her manager into that position. That's what I'm trying to say. They were trying to box us out. So when Lisa Cabrera had her live stream about this particular issue, she said they were boxing out. This was one of those ways that they intended to box me out, but someone higher than her who had the complexion to fit the protection got me locked that whole pipeline. After that, we started getting all kinds of diverse types of people. We got like different types of people. You ain't flooding us up in here with no more China. We got about 25 Chinese engineers right now. We got a team of 120. Just come on now. We don't do this. People starting to see it. And at that time, I couldn't believe that actually happened, but that was a rarity. And the thing I didn't like about it is they would have hired me instead of hiring maybe someone that like you. I hate to say it. They wouldn't have hired a Darnell. They wouldn't have hired a Trayvon. You know?
No.
They hired me. And I'm going, oh, so you'll put the woman in before you put the man. I see what that is. I was trying to put brothers' resumes in. Believe me, I brothers' resumes. I'm like, dude, I got this job over here. You want this job over here? You know, get it together, dude. Get your resume together and stuff. Let's get you in, right? People are like, okay, it's I'm trying. You know, I'm trying. Be like, good. Right. And I'm like, okay, dude, I'm trying to. Dude, I'm right here. But I'm like, I can't do this no more. I don't want to be working with these people no more. I'm sick of it. Y'all missed your opportunity. So close. And I'm done. I'm retired. I'm done with the people.
I've had so many people I try to put on with whatever I was doing. And it poses such a difficulty to get people when they just feel like there's only one opportunity and you're the opportunity that's already in there. So they're not going to pursue it because they don't want to build up the disappointment of, you know, either knocking one of us down and out of it or having a change of trajectory or their thought philosophy of trying not to be envious of somebody who looks like us making it finally and already being under the preconceived narrative that, you know, people were like, if I'm gonna get mine, you better get yours. But it's like, look, bro, like I'm showing you, like, hey, if you do this and do that, you'll be able to get in where I'm at as well. And so because you're making it difficult on yourself and you're not assisting me and walking with me, then I'm like, well, I gotta leave your ass behind. I gotta keep moving on and going with but I gotta go on this by myself. You know, so the fact that we have tried to, on many occasions, try to bring our fellow brothers and sisters into positions, yes, we're already putting ourselves out on the line by even bringing somebody in. And especially if they do a horrible job, then that reflects back on you. And there's been many times where somebody didn't show up or didn't do the job or quit, and that reflected back on me. And they're like, damn, that's your boy? Like he just quit right in front of me, and he quit right in front of you. So I'm like, you know, and it's like, damn, dude, you know how hard I just worked to get you this job position? So,
right, I just went through this stuff to get you this job, right? Oh my God. Okay. So, yeah. And so, and where I was working at in Silicon Valley, I was going up through semiconductors, hardware. Then I went over to software development. Then I went into audio and engineering and research and development and tier 4 support and technical and theoretical support. I started going off into the tangents, right? And so I'm like, look, those jobs were intimidating to the people I was presenting them to because they were highly technical jobs. But I also told my friends or family, dude, if I'm looking at you saying, I think you would fit this job, don't you think I have sense enough to know maybe you might fit in this job, right?
Yes.
One thing about that spiritual background check, I know that this is my talent. This is my talent to know you can fit this job. That is my talent. I am a resource dominant person. I look at the lay of the land, go, this needs to go there, this needs to go there. You work here, you do blah, blah, blah. Leadership, okay? I'm in some kind of leadership thing. Do you think I don't know that you would be great job? I'm working on. Okay, dude, keep working on it. I'm about to go. I'm tired.
Most of us are so qualified for so many positions. It's the psychological, it's the largest cycle of debilitation and the confidence in the fact that, you know, getting past that Willie Lynch letters, the Jim Crowism, that philosophy of keeping the mind but keeping the body, but give me the mind. And so majority of the time for the last 400 years, our mind has been slowly to where just like people just was like, nope, it ain't gonna happen. Nope. I don't care what you're talking about. Like they so adamant about being combative and fighting the fact that no, it's not going to happen. Like they've been shown throughout generations that no, we are not going to overcome. So we still have people out there who still feel that way, that we are not overcoming, regardless of whatever positions. And other people that are other groups are looking like, well, let's come together, let's get it how we live it. And so you can see these people coming in with nepotism, just like I had in that last article. The fact with these people is that now it want to create an uproar about seeing others that are all in the same nationality come together in any type of business entity. It's just like, hey, we weren't complaining about that because this is the American way, I guess, that because it was perceived to us. But when it started happening for us, when it came to the Black Wall Streets and the Rosewoods and the Raleigh, the North Carolinas, we ran into these issues where you guys did not want us to be able to have our own Black Wall Street, like in Bloomington, Indiana. They turned that now. They turned it and they built it and it made it look like it's a bum field. Every one of our national monuments that had our historical context on that, they have done everything to like debilitate it, sell it on pennies on a dollar, and then come back in and sky rise it up. So yes, I'm not going to hate on these people being able to know how to come together and do what we should be already particularly be doing. And so that's why even creating this space, I'm like, look, we know what the problems are. How can we get to the solutions? We're looking at the scope as far as on a longer and larger lens to be able to see the subtleties and things that we may not have seen or addressed, but now we have the space to be able to address it now. Well, let's talk about it. So the fact that we are talking about it, like, hey, you guys did have this many amount of people in this office, and I was the only Black person. And matter of fact, I was the only Black person. And matter of fact, regardless if I was Black, I was actually the hardest worker there. So the fact that I'm getting paid less than all of you, and then you guys are all on breaks longer than me, and
yeah, right.
We went through this.
Being the only person on the entire campus, we were in building 47. You mean to tell me you got 47 buildings and not one of them got a Black person in it but me over here in 47, right? There's no other Black people here. No other foundational Black American people here. Only just, Rajinder and, Shrikant and all kinds of other people. We got Option from Iran. We had Iranian people working with us. I'm like, there are sworn enemies. Why are they in our stuff doing our tech? Okay, whatever, dude. You will not hire Darnell for shit. Okay, I get it.
And that's my middle name too.
Exactly. I'm sorry. That's quintessential Black man name right there. It's like that is the one. You are Black. Okay, it's like yes.
And you just made a great point. It's just like, why are you hiring our enemies? And it goes back to the war. It goes back to the World War II
China don't
thing.
Like us. China don't like us.
It goes back to the World War II. No, they don't. If we weren't spending no money, that's why I brought that up. If we weren't spending no money, people will walk right the hell past us and not mess with us unless you are incentivizing the engagement with these people with money. So even at the end of the day, if I didn't go to this liquor store right around the street from here, and I didn't go in there and I just walked in there and I didn't spend no money. If I went in there for at least a month and I didn't spend no money, I just walked in there and I just said, hey, what up and stuff like that. I'm going to try that out. I'm going to try that out. I'm going to go in there. I'm not going to spend a damn dollar. I'm going to see how
just
long.
Look at him, hey, dude, just want to check and see if you're okay.
Yeah,
all right, bye-bye.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even that. Just be like, hey, what's up? Then that's it. Just like, hey,
that's it. Yeah, just walk to the store and just be like, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? How many times have I done this?
And then you walk right back.
And they just be like, what? They're like, I don't like him. He ain't spending no more money with me. But it's like they will never know anything else about us besides that we are cash cattle to them. You see what I'm saying? They never even indulge and step forward.
Go, I don't like this guy. He keeps coming and trespassing on my place. I wonder how long that would take.
Thank you. I really want to make that an
What do
experiment.
you want to hear about? 3 days, maybe three times. What do you think about me?
No, because I have
Sending.
such a great relationship with them. Well, I wouldn't say a relationship, but I have good rapport with them because
Report. Yeah.
I'm a paying customer. So because of that, how much of that smiling face is going to last. So there's a whole family in that whole gas station liquor store, and I'm going to want to bet that I'm going to see the woman get more impatient about it than the guys, because the guys recognize that I am a gentleman from with the stuff on my walls, all the accolade. Like he kind of senses that or knows it because he sees me walking with my shirt and I'm looking with shine and stuff like that. Oh, what you do? I'm like, hey, check me out. So from that aspect, they're like, oh, I see you in high reverence comparison to the bum that walks in here. So because of that, they're like, oh, they know that I go on the road and work. So they know that I'm an upstanding citizen in that capacity to where I carry myself, not sagging my pants. I got tattoos all on my face. But even without all of these other negative narratives and perceptions that have been on our people, just because my skin is still this, you still have that angst to be like, you're still black or you're still this. So from that, I want to be able to see how long it would go because, okay, if I build up enough credit with you, if I build up enough of a credit score with you, how long will it take for that credit score to be bad? To where people just looking like, hey, dog, when you going, hey, I want to wait till they be like, hey, I got to deal with this paying customer. I'm gonna deal. Yeah, we could talk later. You know what I'm saying? Let me deal with this paying customer. I want to see how long that does take because, like I said, we're sitting here talking about the fact that our dollars are the only form of ice breaking of a conversation between Asians, Arabs, Indians, Mexicans. It doesn't matter. Every other nationality, all are Africans. Africans are not even going to deal with black people unless but they're the money. They're not going to deal with me.
Yeah.
Even if I had the same, and it's such a discouraging and demoralizing and debilitating factor that you would have people that even have.
But see, here's the thing. I'm not. No. Stop. I don't want to keep saying this anymore. It's not debilitating nothing. We can build up our own stuff on the other side. I'm just saying it's funny to laugh at you. It's funny to laugh at you. I have memories that are hilarious about you. I know how stupid you get in the cafeteria. I go in there. They knew what I wanted to get. I got banana pancakes, chicken apple sausage, and a cheese omelet. That's what I wanted for my breakfast. HP. I worked at HP. It was the best cafeteria ever known. They give you good lunch. A good breakfast, good lunch, right? I went over there, got my cup of coffee. People knew what I wanted to eat. I had my agenda out. I was ready for my meetings when I went up in there. They were like, "Damn, she eating that breakfast throwing down. She ready to go over here and tear her ass up." Knew I was to handle that team, right? It was not a problem, but I was working there at age 22, 23, whooping ass with a sweater and leather pants on in a meeting with engineers.
All right, Eddie Murphy. All right, Eddie Murphy.
Exactly. With my hair cut like Anita Baker, sitting over here telling you what you need to be doing with yourself. Okay? Yeah, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was representing blackness. There you go. Hello, engineering over there in Virginia. I had to talk to everybody. Okay, people were on the phone before Zoom happened. We were on actual phones in other places. Yeah. And so we sitting over here. I'm dealing with this stuff, and I'm listening to these people now. Oh, they make me work 40 hours a week completely. I only get a half an hour for lunch. Bitch, you get it. Shut up. I was like constantly writing papers in the lab all day, right? I'm just like, shut up. You mediocre. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? They ask you to write your name every day. That's basically what they ask me to do. Write your name on something every day. And you sitting over here got a problem with that. Oh my God, you stupid. You know what I'm saying? Just shut up, stupid. Now I'm listening to this and I hear the H-1B discussion and hear about how they really want to save money. We knew this all along. Why is it big news for y'all? Because y'all weren't paying attention. Because as long as it kept us out of the equation, then you were okay with all of it. But now it's keeping you out of the equation. That's going to be hilarious. But then we out here on the ground dealing with these other ones. So like you were saying, the experiment, I would love to see that social.
We got a very big eye opener when they took everything out of the Motor City, because
Exactly. That was a great example. Yes.
that was our biggest example that humbled us enough to be able to look at, like, okay, what we did was, it's almost like what I'm dealing with this company. It's like we took this on as if we built this. Well, we did, but we took it on without like the paperwork, the legitimacy of us being in, like, the equity to buying up the shares or actually owning the company, like the other people, the Indian dude just did, kicking out the founder and then it becoming, a black-owned enterprise. That's what it should have monopolized within Michigan. But when we went through that, we looked back and was like, oh snap, we ain't got no jobs. Oh snap. That's where we got these lessons very, very early. So now that they're coming around now, their complaints now are running on exhausted ears because they've heard us marching and screaming and yelling for so many years about the atrocities that was going on, that we were like, you know what? Dang, we can't wait till it happen to you. But then we're like, you know what? We're not going to dwell on this stuff happening to you guys. We're going to start working on our own stuff. And that's what we did. We pulled back,
Exactly.
we gathered all our resources, and we started working on what we needed to work on for ourselves. And we removed ourselves from any of their entanglements. And so because of that, the wells have ran dry. So because of them running dry now at this capacity, you're starting to hear the complaints, because the outside world of everybody who was in these offices, their bills got high. Everybody wanted to keep it with the Joneses. People wanted to, and everything was pulling at your consumerism, where you got to pay for Netflix, you got to pay for this, you got to Apple, you got to Hulu, Tubi, you got all of these different subscriptions. So everybody, not knowing that over time, all of these stuff started to affect you. But once COVID happened, that was the greatest litmus test, the greatest veil of exposure that brought all of this to highlight, and where you gave these people such a like a handicap, like you stopped them from making money. So when that money dried up, it messed up all of the investments. It's like a bird flying inside of a plane's engine and messing it up. That's what that did. A bird went into 2020, which was the most high. It was a holy one, But I'm just making it as an example, just to break it down for people who may not really understand, because we're in the truth. We know what's going on. So I have people out here that are family and friends who I have to convey this, because they do know what I'm talking about, and they've been around me to know that, hey, this dude has always been talking about something. But I want them to understand, in the analogy of a bird going into a plane engine, that literally messed up that engine, that messed up the ability to be able to fly right in the air with passengers on it. I have a video about the passengers that are on the flights, because the ley lines are all jacked up. But because this is happening now at a greater capacity, they did not anticipate these hiccups. We, from a spiritual aspect, because we were tapped in even before 2020 hit, we knew what was going on. We had it in the books, because we were placing it out there, like Dr. Claude Anderson. He laid out every single thing that was going wrong and that was happening to us without no holds barred. The only aspect he didn't have into it was the AK book. That's the extension of his books. It was literally the spiritual aspect being added onto that, whether it's Lisa Cabrera's, the Dick Judas, the Jason Black's, Professor Black Truths, Tariq Nasheed. Like, these people bring it from an aspect of the world that we realistically live in, which is awesome. It's amazing. But when we take it and we put the actual spiritual juice on it, that is removed from the stuff that has already been perverse, that we've dealt with from the priesthood of Mahan, getting involved, and the church and state coming together as a conglomerate to oversee and supersede us and mess us up in the capacity that we have been messed up, we have been able to overcome and thrive. And they don't understand, how did these people make it even when us kicking them out of all of these jobs? How did they still thrive? How did they make it happen? So for them, they are perplexed now because they're like, damn, this is really hard. They're on TikTok crying. They're on TikTok crying now over them. I'm like, you crying over what? I'm like, what? You know,
Right.
they went through
Exactly.
so much time. They went through so much time to where they thought that they had another 20 years to be able to exhaust their money out. But COVID sped all that up. That whole 20 years for them was completely removed because they got that slothfulness. Slothfulness for them was going to be the cush pitch, the cush pin, the pin to pull out of the grenade. And that's what exploded in their face. Now it's like, oh, damn, it exposed my laziness now. Now I got to get off my lazy ass. Now I got to actually fix my resume up. And they looking at their resume like, oh, I really ain't got that much experience. Oh, I really don't know how to type. Oh, I really don't even know how to use Word, Microsoft Word and Excel. Oh, man,
Right.
2025. 2025.
Right.
This,
Because
yeah.
they wanted so badly to hold on to their little fiefdoms. There's little fiefdoms. That's the way they think. This like Vikingish kind of way of thinking of things. Okay, we're talking about the other side. We're the Israelites, right? They you know, whatever they is, right? So whatever their little ways of thinking, they're keeping control of their little fiefdoms for so long that they never develop their skills into 2025. They wouldn't know how to write one inkling of a line of code whatsoever. It doesn't matter. They wouldn't know the difference between C++ and Ruby or anything. I don't know. They wouldn't know nothing. They don't know nothing. They don't know. They don't have a clue. They didn't, like you said, they didn't even know how to type, or they didn't even know how to even, you know, write a paper. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's crazy. It is what it is. But
they rather play Call of Duty than read this book.
Then learn this. Okay, simple. So here's the thing. Back to this H-1B discussion. I have friends of mine whom I love very, very much. I see you, Judy. Hey, Judy. So, who have backgrounds in some heavy knowledge about dealing with the variables of dealing with foreign types who come into our area, right? We're not going to go into details. That's out of my wheelhouse. I'm not any kind of, you know, strategist when it comes to anything security-wise, right? But when it comes to professionalism and people coming in to come to work, I'm looking at the way, yeah. I'm thinking about the way that they enter us in the workplace and outside of the workplace, our environments and our communities, and how they have affected, like, yes, our infrastructure from top to bottom. They were in so many jobs from the top to the bottom. They were in CEO positions all the way down to janitors. They were building roads. They were working on our fiber optic systems. They were working on our phone lines. They were working in our electrical facilities. They're working in our semiconductor companies. They're working in, you know, they're working in your kids' cafeteria line. They're working, you know what I'm saying? Now we have these type of things. They're saying, open this H-1B visa program up to more of them coming in. Why don't we just say, hey, why don't we just let them invade us? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say the word. I said it. Maybe I shouldn't even say that word. Can you just scratch that out? Because I know how this platform is, and I don't want anything to be all frozen.
It is all good.
But you know what I'm saying? Why don't we just open up the doors and let them just come in and turn it into a country? You know, name it a new different country. Because what's the point? What's the point? They won't hire Darnell, and I'm really sad about that because then again, like you said, we're gonna make our own stuff. You know why?
And that's where I'm at. The fact that we can.
We got the skills. We have the technology.
We have all of what we need amongst ourselves and each other that we need to actually aggregate now and actually consolidate. We actually need to look at what we have readily available to us that is ours, that we can put our name and stamp on. That's why I'm saying, even with what I do, what I like, I know I can 100% say that I have created something to put my own stamp on. And I think that's very important to pass that down to the younger generations, all the kids that are looking to that, like, man, he built his own thing and he did his own thing. And, but it doesn't mean that we don't work in partnership or work in congruency with other entities or corporations or people and stuff like that. Like, yeah, we have to, collaborate. That's what makes us better. Like, even for me, like you just said, even being poor, you become the most creative to be able to try to create something. You become we develop so many skills because we had to create out of nothing. When you're creating out of nothing, that is genius. That is the ingenuity from the astral body, from a whole different realm, for you to be able to come up with an idea like, ping, oh my goodness, that's the idea that's going to work, So,
but here's the thing, though. And I'm keeping it back to this discussion because this is going to be affecting how we all work.
Yeah.
Even if it's from us watching from the outside, watching them fight amongst themselves. You know what I'm saying? We're watching them fight amongst themselves. So yes, get the popcorn out and enjoy yourself. Get a glass of wine, chill, just watch it on the big screen on your, if you can.
That's why I'm exposing that now. That's why I'm exposing those confrontations now.
Yes, this is gonna be funny, But at the same time, they're setting precedents for themselves too. And if we have a prime, I hate to use your name, we have a prime opportunity right here. We could build up if we start building up our own companies, our own startups, our own tech companies and stuff like. I'm talking everything. We talk our own companies, from baking cookies all the way up to building infrastructure for the next, for the various technologies that are coming, at our time. I see it says, it's not your fight, y'all. It's not our fight, y'all. I'm not worried about the fight. I'm worried about the aftermath. I'm worried about being those ones who have the infrastructure ready at the aftermath. Because I want us to get this next. So we need to receive this next. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you said that, is being ready to be next, because when this happened, we're in the same centennial year. That's why I love history. I'm a big history buff. We're in the same centennial year as the Great Depression. The Great Depression, I believe, happened September or October 29th or 8th, or one of those days, 1929. My great-grandfather was born in 1925. And so he was 4 years going into the Great Depression. But from there, they had built up the same amount of confidence that they do now, and thinking that the system was going to uphold them, but then it crashed behind them. They put so much trust into that. They're doing the same thing right now with Trump, right now with Vice President Trump. They're doing the same thing with they're doing the same thing with him. And now it's going to get to a point where like you said, being prepared and being ready, because we can't build it right now. We have to keep developing the skills. Like we got to be crocodiles, just like Big Levi said, because pouncing at the right time is always strategic. This is always warfare that we've been dealing with these folks. They've always looked at us as warfare or a casualty in that aspect, or a consolation, or some type of aspect in that, just diabolical and devious, barbaric things pertaining towards us. And everyone to go and do your own thing, but y'all sit here and complain. Now they complaining about Indians going to go do their own thing. So everybody else is getting the complaints from these people about them doing their own thing.
It's in their DNA, though. They're going to complain. It's in their DNA. They can't not complain. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's in their DNA. They can't not. You know what I'm saying? But just the fact that built so much of their infrastructure around stopping us from getting somewhere, so much to the point that this huge loophole has now opened up for other people to now take it away from you.
And
that's such chess move. That's such chess move.
That's such a chess move. That's so just like that's why I'm gonna put that picture back up, because they was just sitting there smiling at them like, I think I took the picture. I gotta put it up, but they was just sitting there smiling like everybody, like they all knew what the hell was doing. Telling former Florida federal. Yeah. Okay, where is that?
Some people didn't see the video. I know.
Oh, the video about the lady.
Yeah, but no. Let's look for the picture though. I'm gonna see this picture
Okay,
again.
I can replay the video over. It's still on here,
Okay.
but it's this one right here. Okay, there we go. So I wanted to showcase this because just the fact that you just said that, and it's looked like every brother, like
oh my
he
goodness,
looked like every brother. He looked like every brother.
Ready to go. They ready. See, but here's the thing. I see what you wrote over here, Sister Judy. However, if the individual's not ready, you cannot contribute. Be ready to contribute. Fine tune your skills. That's exactly what we need to do. That's why I'm saying earlier when I stopped you in the middle of talking, I didn't mean to interrupt you disrespectfully or anything like that, brother. But I was just saying we can keep dwelling on how painful it is, or we can like was said here, fine tune our skills, get ourselves together, shake off these emotions, work through the emotions, take care of yourself, shake it off, get into leadership position, and get ready to start handling some stuff. Because look at these people, they are ready. Okay, they are thinking they have next. They think they have next. They're ready to quit from us.
They're ready to.
Are we gonna let? What is this? Are we gonna let? What are we watching here? Right? This is not.
Yeah.
Is this where we want to go with this whole thing? Is this where we want to go? And if that's what you want to do, we sat the couch. Now we're time to get off the couch. Now it's time to start. Taking a walk. Let's get out.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily in this weather though. It's kind of cold outside.
No, it's cold outside. When it's cold outside, I got the month to make.
Yeah.
But then anyway. No, but this is when you get. I know I'll start saying real quick, but no, we're dealing with these. Just like you brought up a great point about that, is that they have been getting. Every other one of these nationalities have been playing the American Monopoly game very intricately well. Wow, these people started getting lullabied to sleep, started being just Netflixing and chilling and on the Call of Duties and stuff like that. And so because we wind up like kind of went silent and disappeared. I mean, obviously you still got some 83 out there, some Edomites that's still just tripping, Moabites that's out there still tripping. But at the same time, with 83, now that we see within the last 4 years that every one of them are bringing their own angst towards each other. Like, I don't like seeing all these Indians in the building. I don't like seeing all these Haitians. So all the people that were having something to say or been apathetic or quiet when the atrocities were happening to us, now that's why I'm showcasing them here, and I'm showcasing them in a form like I know that I'm okay. Like I'm not dwelling on them, but I feel you though, sister, because that is checking me. That I may have been hazed and not paying attention, but thank you for that. At the same time, I'm speaking to the people that I know that are out there that may not have gone through any of the gauntlet that we've gone through, and they need some type of piece of super, shopping mall sample chicken to be like, here, you take this, you buy, you try this out. And that's what I'm showcasing here is like, at least try this out on size. At least see what I'm trying to convey. Even if you have 5 minutes or you have 5 hours, at least see what I'm trying to show you that is in front of you and your own and everybody else's own individual realities as well.
Do you think that we should start maybe trying to apply for their companies if they're going to be pulling this stuff?
That's funny you say that.
One of these H1B things, should we start infiltrating theirs and start going up doing the same thing? Start bringing Darnell in behind us? Should we start doing that?
It's interesting because when people jockey and position themselves like these people have right now, they know the game enough that they're not even going to allow that okie doke to be slipped onto them. Now, not saying that it's not a possibility, but you have enough people in there that are they got glasses on, that are very watchful eyed, that are going to be like, I smell some Darnell's trying to brew up over here. But in a particular, but at the same
I'm
particular, I
asking
could,
really
yeah, go ahead.
facetiously. I'm asking as a
Yeah,
point of
I know,
sarcasm and being
I know,
facetious. You know, it's
I
not
know. Yeah, I know,
sarcasm.
and I
It's,
no,
it's that
I know.
Shemashite sarcasm that comes
We
out of
gotta
it.
bring it out. So yeah, I don't take no burden by it. I don't take no personal because I know that I know what you're saying. Most people
Yeah.
might get triggered or might get, but I know what you're saying. That's one thing with me.
Hmm.
So I'm not gonna get butthurt about it because I know that that is the
Exactly.
case because this
Yes.
is what we're
Dr.
seeing on
Claude, man. Dr. Claude. We
yeah.
need to go Dr. Claude. It's like, let's just get back. But I'm looking forward to what our next studies are going to be in the next books. But thank you for playing that video from the lady about the H-1Bs. Once again, she said, follow the money because that's what it's all about. It's all about the
Yeah.
money. That's why we got what President Musk, you know, and
Yeah.
yes, I see it's powernomics. Yes, powernomics. We need powernomics. Yes.
But you brought up a very interesting just conversation, that topic right there. Do we go and work for these companies when they are, when you're looking at people who are coming from third world countries to fit into a first class society with third world tendencies, just like even in the hotels, when you see them skimping on the hospitality, like, oh, we slept on floors. You don't need no bed. Oh, you don't need no toilet. You don't. So we run into situations like
Mm-hmm.
that where every one of these other nationalities are skimping or shortcutting, and that's why you're getting so many bad products or services. That's why you're getting horrible built infrastructure and elongated and outdated bridges and roads and stuff like that. So even with the technical aspect, even with these companies, yeah, people can know the ones and zeros about all of this technical aspect because they know how to follow directions. That's when you're looking at any person who's over in the Asian, East Pacific, any of that right there. It's easy to be oppressively capitulative because they know how to follow directions. When you have that amount of uh, white superiority fear and being able to have the adaptation to white colonialization, they identify with the idea to where it's appeasing or it's been incentivized in that capacity where they've been like, you know what, it's not that bad. You know what, I can act this way and I can be like this forever. So everybody around the whole world has conducted themselves like that and have not changed. So because of that now, just like you just brought up right now, do you go into places like that and infiltrate that? It's like, no, you pull yourself back out. Why? Because you're going to go through the same mechanism that you just went through for 400 years with the same amount of people that are there now. And even then, they're a lot more even intricately tied together to where they can be more diabolical in your face because we were always under the impression that minorities are a minority group and that all the minorities are okay with each other. They're all cool. No, these people ain't never been cool with us. They move into our hood and then don't like us in our own hood. Treat us like shit in our own
Right.
hoods. So yes, these people may have had some type of dark pigmentation, complexion closest to us, but these people still
Yeah.
never enjoyed, appreciated, or wanted to be around us. So trying to even support any of these businesses now, all of this stuff must fall. Like you said, we start building our own. We start getting away from anything that has
Start
nothing
building our own.
pertaining.
That's the only real
Yeah,
answer right there. Build our
really
own.
on real.
Because you know what, really, to tell you the truth, even if we were silly enough to be going in here to be working with these people, we would be getting treated like crap. But here's the thing. They also don't know what it's like a slave. They also
That
don't know
part.
what it's like to be treated like crap. They don't. They
Hmm.
think they do. They think, oh, we didn't pay as much as you guys because we had to deal with our visas. You still didn't have 1/10 of what we had to deal with coming up, having to do stuff on the side that y'all wouldn't have even had to fathom because we were not making enough money because nobody wants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
never
that part.
went through any of that stuff. You didn't. If you were working in America and you're in a tech company sitting in a picture like this, you have not had to deal with that in America. I'm sorry, you have not. But here's the
No.
thing: if they don't have that kind of knowledge, we know what rock bottom was. We had to work
Yeah.
$10 and feed a family of 5. You know, we had to make that
Hmm.
work. You know, and so they have not had to do that here in America. They've had cars given to them. They've had apartments rented for them. They've had travel arranged for them. You know what I'm saying? The
You're
semiconductor
right.
company I used to work for had a whole department. It had their own travel agent on site who would send these
Mm.
people off to wherever they wanted to go. So then if they
Wow.
wanted to go to China, they were going to China. If they wanted to go to UK, they were going to UK because that's where things were doing. I literally got on a plane and went all the way out to Germany to deliver a box of semiconductors. One
Mhm.
box, lap, about the size of an Amazon package, just a little package on my lap to send over to these people to go to
Wow.
Germany. Okay, that was like a last minute ticket. You know, it was expensive. Look, they got plenty whatever they need to do over in these companies. I know some of these companies where people literally live down the street from the job. Their commute was walking to work.
Mhm.
Okay,
So you ain't got no extra
over in
expenses.
San Francisco, down. Yeah, they got their expenses paid. They're up in them high rises over in San Francisco. I know some of these ones was working up there. They didn't even have to leave out of their car to go out on the street. They didn't have to deal with no vagrants. They could just go from the parking all the way up to their office up at the top in the elevator. They did
Mhm.
not have to look at nobody. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, dude, serious. These people not had to go through what we had to go. You know.
Thorough. Not one bit.
So,
Not one bit. And the fact that even when in the video with the Asian guy was saying like, "Oh, you as a white person now, you're trying to identify with black people now, which I've been doing to black folks this whole time." So that's where we running into these conflicts where these people are now having to muster up all of the courage now to have to fight everybody who they made it. They've made an enemy with everybody. And that they had to muster up the courage and get off that fat couch to be able to, if y'all want to sit here and be like, make America great again and kicking everybody out, all of these white folks gonna have to get up off of their behinds and start kicking people out. They're gonna be the ones that's gonna have to, because you're gonna have so many people who are not gonna side with that. You got people who are not gonna agree with that. But if you're gonna sit here and put all this pressure on all of these different nationalities, y'all didn't mention everybody who's under the sun. So now black folks is just sitting here stepping back. We're just standing back and we're just looking at, oh, well, white folks is really complaining about everybody else now. So the fact that y'all complaining about everybody else now, you got these people who was like, hey, we sided with your white colonialization. We sided with you doing these things. You better not sit here and be trying to come at us. Or we've been in this country long enough to create some type of political power, acquire some type of wealth and equity that, hey, we will all come together like we're in this office and we will march on down you guys. You know what? While you're sitting here trying to have an attitude with us, we're going to sit here and we're going to scam all you old people, just like the movie The Beekeeper, just like the movie I Care a Lot. And that's what they're doing. They call it acting like
popcorn time. Yeah. Yeah. We must get our popcorn out until we get our own. That's what we need to do. We get our popcorn out till we get our own. I really do believe in our people, though. I believe that it can happen. I don't see anything that could get in the way. I know they got a lot of ideas of what they could put in the way, but I don't see anything that would actually. That's all I have to say. I believe in us, so that's all I have to say.
I'm glad you said that, because I believe in us strongly as well. I've had the faith of a mustard seed in our people since 2020, since the George Floyd, COVID, and all that stuff. I've sat here and watched us come together, even if our fellow brothers and sisters that are skin folk, that ain't kinfolk, who are 83, they was out there marching with George Floyd, or the energy, the trajectory of things changed. You see people calming down. You seeing people who are getting up off of the streets, not being homeless no more on Skid Row, who actually getting a job at that McDonald's that they just sat in front of. You're starting to see that the brothers and sisters are acquiring the skills necessary, even if the job is still not hiring them, or just like I was doing. I was sitting here working and getting all my skills up and doing everything I needed to do, so that even if they tried to kick me to the curb, I still was undeniable in my ability to be able to accomplish any job outside of them. The thing is, they've had so many chains on our legs and our necks that it's the Stockholm syndrome. We're dealing with
Right.
the American Stockholm syndrome of being able to be ye separate, saith the Lord, touch not the unclean thing. That doesn't mean separate ourselves and go to another land and an island and we go and do all that. No, this is our land. Our ancestors built this land. We must never forget that. These people came over to this land to be able to
Send me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to come over here and reap the benefits on a land that was already built up. If everything was so okay, and you're so okay with being Indian or Puerto Rican or Dominican, why aren't you going over to where you are from to actually build your shit up? Why do you have to come over here to actually predicate and make it seem like you actually care about over here, but you're really taking the resources and going back where you are? Or giving it to people who can actually accumulate and build up where they are. So if shit does hit the fan, you got these people who are trying to create emergency trap doors to be able to get out of the country if they need to, like they're trying to enforce now. So all that money that these people send back home, Asians and all of this stuff, these people sent money back home. That's why these people in these countries, because but the fact is these last 4 years
They do.
with so many environmental issues going on, that kicks everybody. People in America, all that are illegal immigrants, have to send their money out to their homelands because they were getting jacked up from Turkey to Asia to everywhere. So like their money's depleted in America. Even in the San Francisco area, you're starting to see so many Asian women roommate up together. You're starting to see all of these different places where it was sky high and people used to be living very high off the hog. Now they have to kick back money. They have to send so much money overseas because of COVID. COVID wiped people out, and that you have credit cards that have exaggerated interest like 49% or 37%, anything like that. Payday advance loans. Indiana was number one in payday advance loans. $439 was the last percentage of interest that I saw when I paid off when I was broke as hell living out there. I remember looking at the paper and it said $439 worth of interest if I was to miss $1. And that's the entrapments that these that this United Corporations of America set up to entrap our people. And these people sat here and worked in these businesses to get a paycheck. You were willing to be diabolical and evil to the next man, to your neighbor. So do you love thy neighbor?
And they did it. They did it to themselves. They did it themselves.
Yeah.
It's a loop that they built upon themselves. Because really, to tell you the truth, they now have to deal with the fact that they're going to have to take their F-150, that they're now paying $700, $100 a month car payment on, and another $300 in insurance because, they done gone out there and had a few road rage incidents and stuff. So now they got to pay $300 in insurance, right? Because they can't handle nothing because they all spazzing out and acting all weird. They're now going to have to sit over here and deal with the ramifications of what they built and put in place that is now kicking them out because they wanted to see Regender instead of seeing Darnell. That's what I'm saying. They're doing it. It's coming back. It's going to keep, like I said, it keeps going back to that whole thing. And it's hilarious. It's starting to become so hilarious. I'm just laughing now. And it's like I said, get your popcorn out too, because now what we have to work on is our skills, what we find to be priorities, and start putting that out as our brand. And that's what we need now for us. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry, you guys built this. It's time to go now. It's not a corner that we're in. We're just piercing through. We're piercing through. It's the next level. We're gone. Okay, we just gone. I don't know if you saw it. Were you the one who played Cosmic Slop the other day? I saw, who was it?
No.
Juice. It was Conscious Juice. I'm sorry.
Conscious Juice, yeah.
Yeah, okay. He was playing something called Cosmic Slop. It's a movie done by Parliament Funkadelic, done by George Clinton and them, right?
Yeah.
So, Cosmic Slop, and it's crazy. And they had this one scene where it's like, I think it's part of this movie, or he played it at the same time as. So please don't. He has it on one of his live streams, and go see him. So anyway, but they were playing it. He was going. They played this scene where all the black people were being sent up into a spaceship. So they were taking out. They were sending all the black people up on the spaceship and stuff like that. They ordered them to leave and stuff like that. And so you started to see the newscaster really start to speak like they really want to speak about this. It's just like, maybe the world would be a better place when all of now that all of our now that all of the dark people have been taken off of the planet, right? And then I'm going, oh my God, they've been wanting to say that forever, haven't they? And so now we see that's really what's going on. It was done in typical Parliament fashion, kind of a little weird and stuff like that and strange, right? But I'm like, hey, yeah, that's what they really want to do. They just want to see that we're going to be leaving. Well, that's what we're doing. Mentally now, we have the opportunity to put ourselves spiritually and fully on our own spaceship. Let's just go, or not even our own spaceship, just get our own mode of transportation and get about. Because this is not our fight anymore. I saw that put in the chat before. Yeah. This is not our fight. Popcorn until we get our own. Because this is, like I said, when they start saying, let's get, all these H-1Bs and where, let's get all these other things. I'm glad you put this thing up. I see what you're putting up on the thing. And I thought about President Musk. This is something that he wanted to have like a long time ago. What would they call it? The Hyperloop or whatever, right?
Yeah.
This Hyperloop thing. They've been wanting to do this. And who are they hiring to go into their little focus groups and go into all these discussions about the feasibility and doing all those studies? They hired Chinese people, they hired Indian people, and they hired others. Just others from other places to come and talk about this, because the people from Amtrak were too, a little too dull, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A little too behind time. And I just,
and that's not a comfortable ride either.
It's not a comfortable ride. They wouldn't really, I ride Amtrak. I do like Amtrak.
I do,
but
I rode across the country. That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful thing. But I'm just saying they were not on this discussion about this Hyperloop because they felt that they were a little behind. But that was the news that I was getting through corporate channels. I don't know what any other entities knew, but that's what we yeah. I remember that the Chinese president came to California one time. They were already in this. Man, there's whole sections of California that are completely Chinese. There's like none of us there. You know what I'm saying? Many different areas down there. And you saw about that map about how much farmland that they own. So they're in everything. Okay, there's no way we're invaded already. I mean, I'm sorry, I hate to use the I word. Okay, take that. We already are, and so I'm just like, whatever, dude. They're here. They got.
That's one thing I'm not going to be afraid on this channel. I don't want us to be. That's one thing I don't want us to be afraid. Even like with Sister Lisa Cabrera today, with talking about that whole community. You see what I'm saying? Like not being afraid to even speak on the truthful aspects of things. They ain't talking about we trying to hurt no feelings and nothing like that, but we're gonna speak truth to things. We ain't gonna let that slide. You just be like, oh, fluff it. No, we're not gonna fluff none of this stuff. We're gonna make sure that we expose it, but at the same time, we're gonna be in the righteous vein and conscious of what we need to be addressing. So, you're at home. Everybody here is at home. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we need to be discussing what we have on the table. When we look at this dude that came over here, like you said, that the Chinese guy. Now, all of downtown LA is all Chinatown, Koreatown, Filipino town, all of these. And that we have when COVID happened, the same thing would happen up in San Francisco, is that all of these businesses are closed down. I even did a video on it where I was like, when I said it, like, I called Big Levi. I was like, yo, I just left Chinatown. I just left Koreatown. I used to be over here. It used to be thriving. Now it's completely empty and desolate. And these people are on those opiums, them drugs, and that the stuff, whatever's jacking these people up is messing people up. But with the money that for them to be able to buy up for a foreign entity or company or industry or person to be able to buy domestic land before an actual domestic person born on this land is able to get to it before they can, shame on America for that. And they let it happen because the United Corporations of America, the dollar speaks more than anybody's skin color. So because of that, that's what it was okay. Just just like with the Hyperloop right now, we have not even allowed our, like they're in China, they're in, I would just left Texas. So yeah, they're in every single place that we live right now. They're in Africa right now. I remember when they did the Chinese New Year about the TransUnion with Africa, and that whole, they had a big old festival, and the whole damn festival was disrespectful to Africans, and they didn't even see it. It just went right over their head. I'm like, huh? But for them to have these railroad tracks built out here, and it's crazy if you look at them. Let me pull up the map, because it's funny that I'm looking at this map, because I showed you guys yesterday what was going on with the fault lines. Now, why are they building these right on the damn fault line? That don't make no damn sense. But that is all on the San Andreas fault. Or that's weaving all throughout the San Andreas fault. And if I bring it up right now, the people will be able to see, like, hey, how are you going to have stability on that? Yes, you spent $128 billion over 30 years because you built on a fault line of the Ring of Fire. You building on the first craton, the very fragility of that first craton.
Okay, so like I said, the people that they hired to do these feasibility studies and whatnot, all these other focus groups and things like that, because they do these things to get funding and approvals and stuff like that. They reach out to people who might be knowledgeable about these things. Like I said, they reached out to people who were not from here. So they do not have the understanding that, no, we had about 20 earthquakes over here. Don't you remember Riverside? Don't you remember all these other earthquakes that happened over here? And they had to be reminded by who? Native American people, foundational American people, who were only brought in to a certain extent because they did not want to pay them to do the real work. You know what I'm saying? They want to give these jobs over to the H-1Bs. And that's why I'm saying we're going to get things like this, and we're going to be baffled about why they're coming up with these type of, why would you build this on the San Andreas fault? This is so stupid. But they wouldn't know this because the people who came over here, whatever their names are, I can't even think of a name. You know what I'm saying? Some other thing comes over here and says this, and he's thinking about what it was like in, over in Kolkata or something over in India, or he's thinking about how it was over in Shanghai or something like that, right? But he's not knowing what it's like in middle of California, throughout the San Andreas, throughout what is it, the valley? What's that valley called? It's Mid Valley,
Central Valley.
Central Valley.
Central Valley.
Just like doesn't know anything about Central Valley, doesn't know anything about Mojave, how hot it gets, how you can't put the rails over there because they might melt and stuff, because it's like,
yeah, that's, I'm glad you brought that up. Wow.
They don't know these things. They had to come over here and waste all this money to go sit over here and discover what they could have gotten from us if they had just like hired.
That's a great question. That is a great question. Hey Siri.
Whatever. You don't want to hire Darnell.
What was the hottest it was this year in Death Valley, California?
Right.
She on her dementia tip today. But that's an interesting you just go, oh my God. So the hottest temperature in Death Valley, California in 2024 was 129 degrees.
Exactly. Right.
On July 7th.
Exactly. Here, let's build some high-speed rail right on that thing. And yeah, okay. Yeah.
How long is that going to uphold over the bending and the twisting and the integrity of the steel? Like was that you just brought that up right now, just mixed in with shaking. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then so now us just talking about it from lay people's terms, we're talking about this outside. We have not been involved in any discussions, but we already know that this is a silly thing to do, because why? We live here. Because why? We have natural engineering minds. We are Black people. You mean to tell us we can't come in here and tell you this? Who are the people who brought down the Apollo 13 or whoever those ones were stuck up there? Who brought them down, those Hidden Figures ladies? We all know these stories. We are brilliant enough. I had people that I would meet up with at Eric's Deli who worked at Advanced Micro Devices over AMD over in, shout out to Santa Clara. They would sit over there, Black people. We had to get together at Eric's Deli. There were 7 of us. In all of Silicon Valley, we could only muster 7 people of color, Black people, foundationally Black people, to get together and grab a sandwich at Eric's Deli once in a while. We would see Bill Gates walk in there and order his crap and give you crap if you didn't put his pickle on the side. Okay, he wanted his big dill pickle on the side, and it was important, right?
That's what she said.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But we would be over there looking at this fool walking up in here. I'm going, God, okay, really? You gonna show out like this over a pickle? Okay, then I need to speak to management and be like, oh, shut up, boy. Okay, number 47. Shut up. And then, you know what I'm saying? Give me my friggin' chips, okay? Give me my salt and vinegar. Shut up, you know? But we did not care about who was who and what was what, but only 7 of us could get together at the time. This was back in like 2001, 2002, so it wasn't anything recent. I'm sure there's plenty more now, but still at the time, it was sad. We could have told you something. That's what I'm just saying. But we're mediocre though, because they didn't want us having the jobs. Okay.
They've done their best to try to like change the presentation and the narrative. You just brought up a good point, because I brought this up yesterday, of the fact that we get pushed out of these positions, but we have been the engineering minds. We have been the ones who Big Mama was the one who had her breast milk take care of their babies when they were sick. You have the situation where we invented these things and they took them away from us. I had brought up on the show yesterday where I was talking about where now they're asking for our suggestions now quietly. Oh, we need help from the public to kind of help it. So if you do have a great idea, like you just brought up the movie about the numbers, like that lady was on the outside, she was on the outside, and they didn't respect that. They're like, okay, we're the people that are in here of prestigious, and you just bringing this random old regular lady out here that we don't know who she is because she ain't been in the office with us. So already the perception when you walk into, as a Black person walking anywhere, you're already going to be looked at as, why is this person in here? I grew up thinking that these people were never qualified. So why is this person in here? It's glitching them. So because of those things, like you just said with the movie Numbers, we've been glitching every type of mechanical fail or troubleshooting issue that they've dealt with. And so now they're soliciting our help in public now, where it's like, hey, we need you guys' help. How can we fix these dams? How can we do these railroads? And we like, no, not for the money that y'all willing to try to give us now. No, let's go ahead and let y'all try to build that out there in 130-degree weather, and let us keep our ideas to ourselves. Let us stay over here. Let's go work on our own stuff. Because when we do bring stuff to you guys' attention, you guys be like, I discovered it. I discovered it. I know Darnell's I know he's the one that, but I discovered it. I discovered Darnell. Darnell was under, no, see?
Yeah. He was working under my company at the time, you know, it's just.
Thank you. So, because we have seen every okie doke very possible, from physical interaction with us to psychological and biological warfare in all capacities, we are no longer going to be given anything of value that is ours, our possessions, to any of them for free or anything like that. Like, they're not going to even be able to partake without actually acknowledging. Like, you can't go in, like, in order to come into our shopping malls, you got to have a key fob, you got to have a kiosk, you got to have a Fitbit or whatever like that. That's going to be able to showcase that, hey, are you even legitimate? We have to have our own credibility system, validation system amongst these people, where we're looking at their whole inventory of their social media presence, their work history. We need to be able to have our own industries where we have certain certifications, where we are able to. I feel like I'm being heard now, because now that somebody's listening in. Because every time I start saying something, it's like somebody's tapping in and listening right now. It's hilarious. It only happens when I start talking about something valuable right now. But anyways, y'all can be listening. The revolution is
maybe
now
it's a side discussion. Don't
Yes,
cast
the
the
rebel.
pearls before the. Don't cast the pearls.
Yeah, no, of course. So, but they have done enough to where we have made the choice to be able to pull out and pull away because you guys have treated us for hundreds of years very horrible, and we watched our mothers and grandmothers and fathers and grandfathers get treated the way that they got treated. Us as the generations that have come past that have now seen that Jacob's trouble was no more and that we now can overcome that. We've seen that all of those prayers, that all of it, all those hours of hard work that people just sat there and had to suck shit up. How many hours I had to sit there during the recession. 2008, I worked in a damn warehouse and I was making less than the illegal immigrants that was there. I had a white supervisor. He was about 4'11", and he would bark. It would bark, and it was almost like the movie 8 Mile because I was writing my rhymes like as I was working. So I was working on my music while I was sitting here doing, you know what I'm saying? So my Mexican, my Mexican coworker, who happened to be, good dude, really good dude, man. We would sit there and be vibing out and chill. He would love my freestyles and stuff like that. And so, but he would see the atrocity. It was like when you pull one of them one by one to be able to see through the lens in the perspective that we have lived, some people actually do find a heart of compassion. They do be like, dang, that's crazy. Like, oh my goodness. Like, wow, I didn't believe that you were really going through this. Because when they could see the results of racism in front of them on somebody else, yes, that person may go through the sense where it's like, what would you do? And they're like, okay, I may stand up and fight for this person. But if there was multiples of other people around them, yeah, you're going to have groupthink. You're not going to step in as comparing. You're not going to be as inclined to want to step in and save and help that young black brother or sister in comparison to if it was a group of y'all. Because it's been plenty of times where we dealt with groupings of you guys and you guys got apathetic and didn't want to help. You actually contributed and participated in actually the demise of our people. So because of that, now we are looking at this in a greater lens now, to where now we're going into this where you guys are all complaining about all of each other. You got, even though we're still never going to be out of the conversation, because we got back, because we got quiet and got silent, and we allowed all the noise to be over there in that party, and we let the party die over there. We've been over here trying to work on ourselves from a mental, physical, psychological, spiritual, financial aspect. But even when we worked on all of those aspects, then we get to the financial thing. We have to understand that this is now powernomics. This is now a whole different ability that we do have political power. We did affect all of the legislative body. We did affect all of the political realm. And the fact that our dollars, we did affect every single holiday this season. These stores had to close down because they always make a great investment on the holiday season. And because it didn't work out in their favor, every single one of these businesses for the last 4 years have been in a red line. I watched these numbers. And because they had to file for bankruptcy, because for one, they never wanted to hire us in positions of power where we could have actually brought people on who looked like us, and it would have worked. Because you didn't bring people that look like us into these positions, people ain't finna go and work knowing that you got a 4'11" dude acting like he got a Napoleon complex, and try to have a pissing contest with everybody there, like you said, with Gates going near over a damn dill pickle. Like people, like the God complex is such a crazy thing with these people that they have no problem wanting to flex it when they get in that position and they overindulge, because it's been so perpetuated throughout the movies, the music, or whatever like that. At the dinner tables, this is what they are having these discussions at the dinner table. Even with the picture I just showed, that's all. There was not one black person in there. So at that dinner table is a completely different conversation than if one of us was actually there. If one of us was actually there, then the conversations are a little bit more, tucked. They're not as, but sometimes it may be actually openly exposed. And we've dealt with that where people was never afraid and never scared to say how they truly felt about us as black people. But even if that was the case and we were the only black person that worked in these jobs, they would do it subliminally. They would do it, they would do it undermining. They would do it, mocking, and so many different factors that we had to deal with everybody else's racism or prejudice, barrier biases that were cultivated throughout their upbringing. They was passed down generation to generation to despise and look at us in this capacity. But like we just said earlier, y'all keep that same energy. We cool with allowing y'all to do what y'all do over there.
Exactly.
We don't got no
Exactly.
problem with that. Y'all want to work together, but who is your customer? Who is your consumers? So you telling me that all y'all consumers is going to be Indians? Not all Indians is like that. Not all Indians with the dot or the feather are all like that. Even
Exactly.
the ones with the feather, they don't even spend their dollars with nobody else like that. Even the Amish,
Exactly.
they don't spend their money like that with nobody else. So you got Amish consumers. So that's what I'm saying about all of these other people. They're gonna find out the real hard way
They're
that
gonna
them
find out.
dollars
Yeah, they're gonna
that
F around and find out, and that's the way it's gonna be. It's like whatever, but we still need to be working on our own. We need to be
yeah.
working on our own insides. And when it all boils down to it, no matter what the visa is called, no matter what it does, we all need to stay prayed up. We all need to stay working on whatever we got to do, our shadow work or whatever we got to do.
Exactly.
Get your head together, get right with the Most High, and just keep your mind focused on righteousness. Because I mean, that's the only way to get out. That's the only way we're gonna do this. Because if you're sitting over here worried about what they doing all day, yeah, they going through it. But see, one of the things though that I grapple with when I discuss things like this on anything or even listening, just being in the chats and stuff, is that I don't want to get too happy about this infighting and downfalls and stuff like. I don't want to get too happy about it because we know.
No,
that,
I'm not. No, I'm not. I just make it aware. I hear you though.
I'm not saying that you are. I'm just saying
No,
I
I
have
got
to
you.
stop myself from getting to the point where I start reminiscing about the past and how strong we are. Because I know, like you said, we had a real number done on us, And, with the releasing of things inside myself, everyone hasn't had a chance to release these things within themselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm just asking that you really take the time to do this. This is really, if you don't hear anything else, hear this as a clarion call to please get it right now. Just please go seek whatever you got to seek to get yourself in truth and in alignment. Because it's time now. We ain't got no more playtime no more. We just don't. We just don't. The Most High is here. He's doing his thing. We watching it. We seeing him go crazy. We're watching him have a civil war. We're watching him try to hand it over to everybody else. And we're going to watch them be bumbling idiots. It's going to be Benny Hill all over just bumping into each other, being stupid, right? So we're just going to be watching it. And so, yeah. What's this we got going on here? What you looking for now?
So no, I was just this video.
As the crow flies, it's just 350 miles from Los Angeles to one of the busiest transit routes in the United States and is well suited for planes, trains, and automobiles. Hang on a second. Planes, trains, what? There are certainly planes shuttling back and forth between LAX and SFO, with, on average, about 11,000 passengers a day flying the route. And taking a car can be one of the classic American road trips. The meandering Highway 1 along the Pacific coast is the most scenic. Inland, I-5 is much faster and takes about 6 hours of non-stop driving. But taking the train is an entirely different story because you can't. There is no direct train link between Los Angeles and San Francisco. The nearest Amtrak mainline station to San Francisco is across the bay in Oakland. So it's hardly convenient and is certainly not fast, with a journey time of about 11 hours. That's partly why, 3 decades ago, authorities in California decided they needed a fast rail link between the 2 biggest urban conurbations in the state. Linking Los Angeles and San Francisco with fast rail would have several economic and environmental advantages.
We have very disparate regional economies. And so we have the Bay Area, which has a huge tech, Silicon Valley kind of focused economy. We have Los Angeles, which is just a massive, very diverse economic base. And then we have the Central Valley, which lags behind economically. And those places are not well connected today. That's the kind of thing that high-speed rail can do, is not just connect the endpoints, but also connect the places in between and tie them together. So a trip from Fresno to Silicon Valley goes from being a 3-hour trip to a 1-hour train ride.
The dream of high-speed rail in the United States is fraught with hurdles. Experts point out 3 major issues hindering the development of fast rail systems in the country.
The first is simply the lack of precedent. There's not really any purpose-built intercity rail in North America. There are some intercity rail services in the Northeast, routes like the Amtrak Northeast Corridor. It's not really high speed. I mean, the journey times are not bad, but it's certainly using, legacy infrastructure, and it's proving quite difficult to modernize. Issue number 2 is you've got to get the trains into the downtown, into the city centre, and that is not straightforward. If you don't have spare rail capacity to do the final, let's say 20 kilometres from the edge of the conurbation to the downtown city centre hub, then building a new line, possibly in a tunnel, possibly requiring an underground station, is hugely difficult. In the case of California, there is a rail corridor called the Caltrain, which runs into the center of San Francisco from San Jose, and the proposal is for the California high-speed rail services to share this corridor with commuter trains. But for that 50, 60 kilometre route, they won't be running at high speed. They'll be running at the same speed as the commuter trains. At the LA end, I think the range of mountains north of LA are a huge cost and engineering complexity. And I think getting into LA from the Central Valley is one of the big problems. I think the third major hurdle is simply the planning system, the level of environmental clearance you have to build a new railway, the regulatory environment, the sheer number of local administrations you have to go through, especially in a democracy like the United States, like California. It can't be compared to China, where if the Chinese want to build a new railway, the government simply says build it, and it more or less happens in a much more top-down way. As I understand it, there's been fierce opposition in places, particularly in the Central Valley, which is the sort of inland area that the high-speed line follows between San Francisco and LA. It doesn't follow the coast. I think the planning system has been a huge hurdle as well.
Wading through the planning bureaucracy and acquiring the right of way has undoubtedly been one of the major factors in slowing progress.
For that 119 miles, we have had to acquire 2,300 parcels of land. Those are all individual negotiations with the property owners. Obviously, we have eminent domain authority, but we first try to reach agreement with the property owner for that acquisition. From there, we have had to move 1,800 utilities out of the way. And just in Fresno, we've had over 900 utilities. And sometimes the utility companies themselves don't know what they have down there, and you're coming across it and finding it and having to work out a design solution which might have a right-of-way impact or whatever else. So that's all of the land preparation before you get to construction have certainly been big challenges.
Looking at the map, there is no bullet train or TGV heading straight from one urban center to another. Because of the geography, the route doglegs into the Central Valley out of Los Angeles and back into the Bay Area.
We want to connect places, not bypass them. When you look at kind of statewide history of investment in transportation infrastructure, when the I-5 was built, it was built on the western side of the Central Valley where there's no people. And it's a very straight route, and it does nothing to connect those communities to the rest of the state. Whereas Highway 99 is the main connecting route, and this is the advantage of rail over airports. Airports are a point-to-point system, and so you're flying from this place to that place. Well, a train can stop in between. You can have intermediate stations, and you can serve them. You can have an express train, you can have a local train, or anything in between. The Central Valley is both the part of the state that has the biggest economic need, but also it's one of the worst air quality basins. And it's one of the fastest growing places in the state with over 5 million people. Fresno has over 500,000 people. It's the same size as Atlanta. These are places that are worth connecting and worth having on the statewide system.
When eventually completed, the track will run 500 miles between the main urban conurbations, with a travel time of 2 hours and 40 minutes. About a quarter of the route, 119 miles, is under construction in the Central Valley stretch. Eventually, some US record-breaking engineering will have to be done to link the two cities.
Now we're building the Central Valley stretch. We've also helped to electrify the Caltrain corridor here in the Bay Area, but to connect the two, for example, we have a mountain range to get through. And similarly, to get from the Central Valley to Southern California, there's 2 mountain ranges, and those will require substantial tunnel sections. So the longest tunnel that we have in Northern California is about 13.5 miles. The longest one in Southern California is also about 13 miles or so, which for the US would be the longest rail tunnels in the country. But those are certainly going to be big engineering works. I mean, this entire thing is a mega project. Those are individual, mega projects within the mega project.
Construction of the tunnels has yet to be started. In fact, there is a long way to go before the Central Valley will be connected to either of the 2 termini.
Northern California perspective has been, before we can even talk about building the tunnels, we need to do all the more detailed geotechnical investigations through that area, which is itself a 3-ish year process before we even issue sort of a design contract for the actual tunnel work itself. And so, the timeline is driven off of those next steps first, but those are the critical path items to connecting the entire state is the tunnel sections. They're the longest construction lead time, both lead time and construction time.
What appears to be a piecemeal project with parts under construction and others still in the planning phase has much to do with how the rail line is being funded. Or more particularly, the lack of funding from central government.
When the interstate system was built across the country, the federal government paid for 80 to 90% of it. That's never existed for rail projects, and so I think there's always been this question of what is the right balance between federal and state share. And so for highways, it was 80% federal and 20 or less percent state. We've sort of been doing it the reverse, where right now it's about 25% federal and about 75% state funding.
Even though California is probably the 5th biggest economy in the world, it is just a state, and central, not local government has funded all other high-speed rail projects around the world. For a project, these significant funding issues are exacerbated by Washington's 4-year cycle of administrations.
One of the particular hurdles they faced is obviously changes in the federal government. Under President Trump, there was a much more hostile approach, I think it's fair to say, to public transport in general. And that meant that access to federal funding, which is a key element of the programme, was more limited. There has been a risk in recent years that the first segment of the railway to be completed is going to be in the least populated part of the state, which is not an ideal set of circumstances, I would suggest. And I'm not totally sure that quandary has been resolved.
When it was first imagined, a high-speed rail line was not seen as a commuter link. However, housing prices have skyrocketed over the years, particularly in San Francisco. This means living in the cheaper Central Valley and working in the Bay Area becomes more economically and socially viable. It also has another under-recognized boost for the economy of the poorer part of the state.
When Silicon Valley companies are looking to establish an additional office or some other processing location, they generally look at, Reno, Nevada, or, Phoenix, Arizona, or maybe Salt Lake City, because it's cheaper in those places. But it's partially because that's also convenient from a travel perspective. Basically a 1 hour, 2 hour flight from headquarters. Central Valley cities, which have equally less expensive office space, factory space, warehousing space, what happens when that starts to become easy to get to? Do those companies now start to locate additional facilities in the Central Valley, for example? And again, there is a kind of a general economic theory that underlies this called agglomeration economies, that when you start to connect places together, when you make it easier to travel, you get better labor matching. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts, essentially, economically.
Even before the new Trump administration comes into power, some Republican critics in the state were calling for the project to be curtailed or even shut down. However, that is probably very short-sighted.
I don't see any sense in giving up. I mean, the construction's underway, and they have got a plan to get a 270-kilometre railway running by the end of the decade. The Italian high-speed rail network is a very good example of this, where it started, it stopped, projects were cancelled, there were government financial crisis, it took decades to complete the first section of the Italian high-speed network between Rome and Florence, which was perhaps the easiest from a geographical and topographical point of view. So I don't think it would make sense to abandon it. It doesn't surprise me that local politicians are saying that in California. My own personal view is that I think the California high-speed rail program could actually work as an express commuter rail service for San Francisco, because we know San Francisco and the Silicon Valley area and the Bay Area has some of the highest house prices in the world. And we also know that there's an area of kind of economic relative underperformance in the Central Valley. It would not surprise me if what we ended up with was a sort of express commuter high-speed rail service linking places like Fresno and Bakersfield with the job market in San Jose and San Francisco.
Even though the completion of the high-speed rail link between Los Angeles and San Francisco is still a long way off, small steps have been made in the Bay Area with the electrification of the existing track. It has only increased public awareness of the project and expectations.
We launched the electrified Caltrain service here in the Bay Area. The amount of enthusiasm for that was off the charts. And these are sort of the first modern electric trains that people are seeing on a corridor that's existed for 150 years. I hear the trains, from where I live. Like, my neighbors are talking about it. The kids at my daughter's school, she's in elementary school, are excited about electric trains. And so that excitement is palpable. And I think the more that people see of it, the more that the construction's happening, the more the stations are being designed, the things that people can feel and touch, I think that continues to generate excitement in the public.
It will be interesting to see if the enthusiasm will be translated into support for the further rounds of funding needed for the project to link California's two major conurbations by high-speed rail finally.
The recent milestone completing the electrification of the previously diesel-operated railway from San Francisco to San Jose, I think that's actually a small but really significant shot in the arm for the California project, because it now means that an electric high-speed train may not be running at high speed in the suburbs of San Francisco, but it can get out of the Bay Area, it can get into the Central Valley if they build the rest of the link down towards Fresno and Bakersfield. So I'm cautiously optimistic. We're not going to see San Francisco to LA in 3 hours. We probably won't see it at least before 2040, and I suspect realistically probably beyond that.
If the prediction is accurate, the construction time will be about twice that of the Egyptian pyramids. So Californians are in for a long wait to buy a ticket to speed from Los Angeles to San Francisco in the comfort of a train.
Remember to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell.
That was a very interesting video. Where's my face? Let me see where I'm at. There I go. That was, being from California, it just made me feel a little bit different too. That was kind of dope. I didn't expect to see that video. I just thought it was just an article, but that kind of really laid out a lot of what, information and what we've learned over the years about all this. There's a lot of things I didn't know as far as that it would be that much of an issue. But, having to get through two mountains, yeah, like that's not easy. But the interesting part that he says something that kind of made me think real quick. He has said the freeways are 80% federal and less than 20 for states. And then it's the opposite for the railroads. And it's like, we always working for these companies. They can gas us up to hire us up, no problem. Like, oh, black people, y'all come work. But for him to say like it's 85% private and trying to take it off of the the notion of the federal being involved, and you're bouncing through a lot of these cities. Now, these cities got major amounts of black folks in them. San Francisco, a little bit of struggle, but there's still some in there. Oakland, all day, every day. A lot of whole Bay Area, Fresno, Modesto, Bakersfield, Sacramento, all the way down to LA. Like the opportunity to be able to get to and from North and Southern California would be tremendous, because now it's like you damn near don't even need nobody outside of the country. I'm not saying that we don't, but the fact that you can get up to the tech and get down to the entertainment, the fact that you can get to all of the other spots in between, you are eliminating so much traction and traffic and friction that is going on in the state. But the fact that you got, like you say, you try to bring up all of the different reasons of why that it's not happening, with them transferring, administrations and, financial stuff and stuff like that. And like, even if we had the $128 billion to make that happen, you still got maybe $128 billion extra dollars that is going to be needed because of the amount of fuckery, pretty much, that we're going to wind up going through. Like he just said, and so we've had to deal with that regardless of wherever we went, try to build our own. And we knew that the conditions was perfect for us and everything like that. They were like, well, you just kind of are 3 degrees off on the slope in here, so you can't do. No, so the fact that we are running into seeing how all of what they're trying to do and build and bring to the table and, get everybody on board and hop on the bandwagon, knowing that there's so many different loopholes, or it's not structured properly, or it's finicky and got people questioning it. It's all of this stuff has to fall apart in order for it to get built back up. So all of their sandcastles are getting knocked down for us to be patient enough to be able to stay put, stay focused, and stay ready. And that's what we really need to be doing, is to be staying ready, because we're seeing these things where, okay, you want to build all these things up, but you're cornering the side of the market, or, not allowing us to even be able to participate. Yeah, without having to change from bus to train, back to bus in either direction. Yeah, because that is a lot. Going up and back, that's a lot. That's a long drive down there to be able to just be able to get to and from LA, no problem right here. Bet. But then you don't have no major structure. The railway system would have eliminated a lot of things. But the fact that we have had so many, even with the freeway, with the 710 freeway, trying to connect the 710 freeway to the 210, these raggedy ass folks in Pasadena was like, oh, this is historical. But and it's crazy because they'll let the property look raggedy. They'll let the property be ran down and depreciate and stuff like that because of historical context. Well, just because that happened, that delayed, that made a whole issue. And to this day, it would have alleviated a lot of traffic just having that built up. But because these people are not even using this land or anything like that, but they're trying to say it was for historical, but all of this land is historically ours at the end of the day. So yeah, if you're going to build something, yeah, it's due unto us. So if y'all all want to build it, y'all gonna build, y'all building this for us. That's literally what's happening right now. All these people working together, doing all this stuff. Y'all go over there and go work together. That's cool. Because when we start doing our thing, you guys are going to come trickle over to us. You're going to be moving in our communities as you're already doing right now. Even with the gentrification aspect of it, they're finding out the hard way that their historical context of being landlords in a community is not boating out that well now. Now, I haven't even brought that up. I haven't even brought that part up on how, yeah, these people are getting ran out of wherever they at. They're getting ran out of the hood. They get ran out of Mexico because they came over there and jack hiked the prices up. So now the native people there are pissed about that, and they're like, "Well, I'm just about to kick y'all out. Y'all go back to where y'all at." But it's like, "Well, shit, you trying to kick me out? Well, we need to kick y'all out." So it's always this tit for tat thing where if they can't enjoy being able to put their dirty ass snow boots on your couch, then they gonna burn your whole damn house down. Like, what kind of logic and methodology is this? What is going on like this? Yeah, I still shocked about the 405 being stuck in traffic. Oh man. Oh my gosh, days of traffic in LA. I promise you. It's funny you say that because LAX was my backyard. I stayed right there in Westchester, and I went to school in that whole little area. So you got Marina Del Rey, you got Culver City, amazing place to live. Oh, I love the Marina Del Rey. If I was to ever live somewhere in Marina Del Rey, right there in Long Beach, just right on where you can see Catalina Island. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, there's so many places in LA that are just. I've been everywhere in LA, all throughout the whole coast. Oh, so many places. I can't even lie. Oceanside, you could take the Amtrak all the way down from LA down to Oceanside, and it's one of the most amazing ocean views of you driving or you being on the train going there. So those rides are an experience of themselves. So yes, I do appreciate being on the train. Now, do I want to drive? No, I want to be on a train going across the whole country without it being a bed in there. Hell no, because them seats are not made to be comfortable. And I was broke at the time, so I didn't have a pillow, I didn't have a jacket, and I realized that when I got out there, it was cold. The more you start getting East Coast, you start realizing I had a thin jacket. It was so bad. Oh man, when did I move out there? I moved out there. When did I move out there? I moved out there. I was working at Victoria's Secret. I transferred from working at working in Westchester, and then having to walk all the way to. I don't even know if I told this story on here, but this is hilarious. Wow. I walked from not Santa Monica. I walked from Westchester, the donut shop, the Yum Yums donut shop, right there on Sepulveda and why am I forgetting my streets right now? Airport. Walked from there all the way down to Lincoln. Lincoln is the number one. It's the first street, so it's like connecting like PCH and all of that. So it runs all up and down the whole coast. It's like first freeway closest to. Let me take this off. It's the first freeway. Closest to the ocean. So they all run, like if they go parallel like this, they're odd numbers. If they run like this, they're even numbers. If they go diagonal like that, you're getting odds and evens, but you're getting like the hundreds and all the weird numbers. Anyways, when I walked down there, and that day, I got so many stories. It's crazy. I didn't finna go all the way deep, but I did see an unidentified flying object right there off of Lincoln in Washington, right in the front of that CVS. I remember looking up in the sky, and I had a broke phone. It was a boost phone. My screen was cracked. My ex at the time, she broke up with me because I couldn't call her back. She was so pissed at me. She was like, "You didn't call me back. I don't want you anymore." I'm like, "Look, my phone is raggedy. I'm a broke ass nigga." At the time, it was bad. Not because I was trying to be or wanted to be, but it was just like, yeah. But anyways, I walked from there all the way to Santa Monica to work at Victoria's Secret. And that was bad. That was like 7.7 miles every day. And I remember seeing that. But anyways, I remember traveling in the train from LA to Indiana. And that was the same equivalency as getting on a Greyhound bus. You was better off flying or driving, but the expenses did change. Yes, you can take the Amtrak or the bus and get to where you need to get to. You just gonna be on that thing for 78 days. Because you got to worry about so much. Public transportation has not been fully upgraded and updated in this country, and we are looking at it clear as day on how they are putting Band-Aids over a shotgun wound. They are putting clean draws over a diarrhea booty hole. So I used to love going to county back in the 80s and 90s when my cousins were still alive. Yeah, the train ride from Sacramento to Tahoe is amazing. Yes, it is. They would serve dinner in that view on Amtrak. Yes, they would. And to have that go on, the fact that we are not that the fact that they made it very apparent that for us not to be involved in the conversations with any of the civil building structure, the civil engineering and building applications anywhere is the reasons why we are pissed. That's what we're trying to get all of y'all to understand, but y'all don't want to freaking listen. None of y'all want to listen. So we like, you know what? We just gonna actually be silent and quiet and just be ye separate, said the Lord, because we are tired of marching in the streets, yelling, being beat up in front of cops for all of this. No, we're gonna leave it alone. And it's funny because we're seeing so many of everybody else getting involved. They're the ones getting the calls. They're the ones that are ending up. That's why I'm trying to show you the face of criminality now, because I remember every day. I promise you, KTLA, KCAL 9, Good Morning America, all these, not Good Morning, Good Day LA, these places, every 3 videos was kill, hit and run, kill, hit and run, puppy dog, J-Lo, some stupid entertainment news in that, but it was always just like, after some crazy nonsense, it was always like, purchase this puppy. But when they really, I would pay attention to, because I'd be like, they would cover stories and they would be so short. I promise you, they would be so short. And it would baffle me. It's like, okay, at the time I'm a kid. It's like, why ain't no more? Dang, man. But why didn't we get more information about this stuff, So, and then when we didn't have the internet or anything like that, it was like, well, even in the newspapers, they was not giving us all the information. Even in the radio, they were not giving us all the information. It was all structured and puppeteered through entertainment. So we were the least informed and the most educated, and even when we got the substance that we needed to get, they gave it to us in such short amounts that we couldn't come back around and be like, okay, can we question it? No, don't talk about it. We don't need to talk about it. So we would never be able to address things. But when we kept pushing the envelope, everybody would want to skim past being able to address any of the needs that we needed for our people, or the fact that we were trying to assimilate from the civil rights to try to assimilate into the system, into this country like we have, and to still be denied, still get treated the way we all been treated. Like we, oh, are you? Nah, that's because of that. All right, it's that button, my bad. So with that being said, are you there? I believe you should be able to hear me. I want to see. Yeah, that's weird how it's not showing. I don't know. Like my devices have been like, I'm literally I was on TikTok on this phone, and it went through some crazy stuff while we were talking. And then I switched it over because it had got shut down on here with the Instagram, and I couldn't connect the Instagram back up. But when I'm on the Instagram on the phone, it did the same thing. So it's like, dude, that's why when I first started doing this, I knew I was like, dude, it was weird because I felt like I kept getting attacked, or people was listening to me and stuff like that. People sending me random text messages. People were like, oh, I'm going to show up at your house type of thing. Emails, oh, we want to hire you here and all this stuff. So to know that when we actually start putting ourselves out there, as I know that I have been. Everywhere I go, we're getting watched. No matter what we do, we're the litmus test to everybody else on how they should conduct themselves. But even while they look at that example, they still do the polar opposite, and really the results don't show. But the fact that we sit here looking at all of the employment aspects that they keep speaking about, all of America and stuff like that, you're going to get rid of all of these illegal immigrants. And it's funny because you have somebody who is dead. It's funny that I'm talking about it right now because Vivek Ramaswamy reminds me of the Willie Lynch letters. And he reminds me of how he is kind of whispering, it's like being a black white slave master. You are literally a black man, but you are perpetuating yourself as if you are white. You're Clayton Bigsby. You are, a black white supremacist. And now you have put yourself, I don't know if you're still there. Should have been there. Are you there? I don't know. That should be my other screen. No, that's that screen. That should have nothing to do with that. Is it muted on your end? The muted button, let me see. You should be able to talk.
Okay, here we go. It's on now.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. So,
No, you good.
okay.
So while the video was going on, I had just muted both of us so we can be able to hear it, because I didn't expect to hear that, but it was just like, oh, this is very informative. Let me shut up. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just going to read that article, and I didn't know it was a video at the bottom until you called it out and said it. But they really elaborated and explained a lot, especially us as, the people who are from California or lived out here or have lived out here or visited. These are so many things that we have seen over the years where our people have been in this state, on this side of the coast. And we should definitely be much more in control of all of the faculties that are in this country, whether it's on the governmental aspect, the law enforcement, to where we get our training here and then we go and move into these other places where all they white folks is at, and we start being able to be the cops and the sheriffs of those cities, because like I said, these people are committing the crimes. Yeah, go ahead.
You see what they did with the who they put up in that article, who they put up in that video, right? As the marketing people. That's what they mean by the mediocre people in there. These were your middle management, do nothing positions in the in between. They're your your contracted marketing people. They're your head of marketing. They're your head of communications or whatever. They're just there to be the face of the company, to keep it up looking nice for all these so-called investors, so they can think that they're all part of the 83's company. You know what I'm saying? Like they all trying to keep that vision up there. But really in the background, the ones actually doing the work were the Indians and the Chinese people and all this other stuff, because they couldn't let it be known who was actually out there doing these feasibilities. But once again, locking us out and boxing us out. They couldn't put one of our faces up there doing all these discussions and stuff when it came to feasibility and why it did. You know what I'm saying? Because they wouldn't believe us if it was us doing it, even if we did it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just seeing, I'm seeing okey doke being run on us right here too. This is what wasted all your money. So we're gonna put one of their faces up here to cushion the blow of them knowing they just wasted a ton of money to sit there and eat lunches and talk about how they can't do it.
It's interesting you just said that too. So like what you just said right now brought up where, the administrations would stop funding. So say us as a nation, we had put money up like $100 million to help with that railroad, and then you rug pull, and then we lose out on that. Like there's so many rug pulls that have happened where they have affected our money, our ability to be involved in these conversations. Like you said, they bring in the low end people to just sit there and talk on something that we could have sat here and had this conversation and elaborated on the same information he just spewed out. But because the complexion is the protection, that makes it much more even. It's not difficult for us no more, and that's why I want to stop even saying what I'm saying. But I know that I'm speaking to people who still are in that mentality, who are like, okay, if Prime is talking like this, okay, I need to take a look at myself and how I may have been thinking about this and understand, like, hey, these people really ain't been in my favor, like on the HR department, like with the video you sent with the sister, the anti-HR, because we sit here and be Captain America, America flagging all of these folks, and you get the short end of the stick. We were working on the railroads this whole time. We built all the railroads that are in this country right now. The Gandhi boys, they were, so the fact that we sat here and were involved and we have no partaking of it in any equitable part, that's the part now we're looking at. Is like, you have billions and trillions of dollars going across these transportation lines with nothing to show for it in our communities. That disturbs me. That our folks did work on these lines, did work, and they're still utilized to this day. And there was no true compensation for building something like that is still maintained to this day. And I feel like people who, especially if you're in construction or any type of, I feel like you should be a part of that monument as well. I wouldn't say you know, as far as maybe a share. You may have a small little percentage that over a year that this place accumulates, and you can look at your son. You can look down at your son and be like, hey, your pops built this building, and this building, me helping to build this building, and it's still successful to this day. The money that I get as dividends from, this building has been able to pay for your college tuition, But they have never tried to incentivize in no form or fashion anything that because they know that the moment that is opened up for Black folks, it's like open season for everybody else. So because of that, I think just the fact that it's proven to be scary for a lot of people to even, to even be able to have confidence, to be able to feel like they are included. And that's the difference, is that the fact that we have not been included in any of the conversations on any of corporate America, and we've had to sit there and still put a suit on. You got all these fly brothers and sisters in a suit, tuxedo, and a nice dress with the earrings on, with the jewelry smelling good, still get into the office to still be a nigga. To still not get that promotion, still not get that raise, still not get the job. You didn't went to school for 4, 8, 12 years, all of this stuff, and it just like that could be you can be removed from the conversation that fast. So to even see that they're trying to come up with all of these big, elaborate contracts and projects and enterprises, and they want to build the biggest and largest in America now. What workforce? What workforce? I'm showing you videos of their women being locked up and getting stretched. These ain't no good. They're mutilating their boyfriends and husbands. They're doing crazy stuff. You got women doing very diabolical things to get these people. The same thing with men. You got men who are driving over country and state lines to be able to do the most diabolical, heinous stuff right now. I just showed you the video of the woman who took her and her baby out. You just lost another body, another workforce body. And then they're not having kids. So where's the workforce coming? And you make it a point to still not want to hire us. We sit here like, hey, we able-bodied, we're able to do the job. Just put me in the game, coach. No, I still can't hire you. I still can't pay you. I still can't do any of these things. We went through this stuff. So if you don't even have a legitimate working class because they're high on opium, high on meth, high on coke, high on trank, high on K2, high on pharmaceuticals, Dot. Are you going to hire somebody who is completely always under the influence to be suitable to handle the tasks at hand to run your corporate company? But then for them, they had that privilege. They had plenty of people that made that. I don't even know if they was really, like an active drug user or stuff like that. And it was. You had a bunch of people, but they kept it under wraps. You had many people who committed so many different things and got away with it. We showed up to work 5 minutes late. Y'all made it the biggest spectacle and scene. Wrote us up, did all of these things. So, no, you are starting to see over the last 25 years now that I've been paying attention to since AOL, because I remember being on AOL and studying about this stuff on my grandma's computer. I was a kid. Man, I was a kid. I was a smart kid. And a lot of people don't give credit to kids, teenagers. I was really into them studies because I'm like, okay, my elders around me are not trying to even get this information. Matter of fact, they're not even in a position to even help me get the leg up because they don't even know about it. I'm teaching them about it. So for me, it's like our generations have been so left out in the dark with a butter knife and a flashlight, and a dying flashlight at that. Blinking in and out, can't even make out, you can't even make sense of it because you don't even know if it's really real, because they can't even distinguish it because they didn't do the filtration process before the shit got to us. So they did not protect us in the fullest capacity that we needed to be. All that stuff didn't get siphoned out. We got full blast as well as everybody else. We got a different blast because once the civil rights and then all of the motor companies went away, crack. And that our minds were gone. Our brothers was gone. Locked up, hemmed up, made it very difficult. For the last 25 years, I've watched the constant, even with all infrastructure, all of these businesses on the decline. That's what prompted me to travel so much more, because I was like, man, something ain't right. Something ain't paying. I need to see this for myself. When I drove through and I was able to see Katrina and the damage that it did in New Orleans for myself, it's just like, damn. When I went through these cities and I was able to see for myself, to go to the Devil's Tower, to see for myself, to go to the beach and jump into that mermaid water, to see for myself. These are very important things that they have been doing, that are showcasing now, that we have already been noticing, and we've already taken account of it. And now we know that, okay, we're never going back to sleep again. We're never going back to sleep again to this stuff.
I believe they're going to pull the same thing when it ends up being their time flipped over and they start to get the cold potatoes, They're going to see the same thing. Another thing that they did was they tried to pit us together. They already did enough in our families to make the black man and the black woman not get together, period, right? Then they did this whole thing of, like I said, they hired me, but they wouldn't hire Darnell. And I tried to pull Darnell in, and you got Darnell sitting over here stressed out, getting pulled over by the police every other day. Now he can't come into the company because now he has a record. And I'm going, well, I'm trying to get Darnell in here, but then at the same time, you're trying to make me not want to date him, or, or the woman not want to try to date the black man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so you're busting up the families, you're making us hate each other, and then you start giving all the money to the black woman. She starts thinking she's too independent, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, we got them twerking on the TV. I can make my own money. I don't need no man. And you got what you got today. Now you got what you got today. And it's just like, we had super strong families back in the day. even when we were forced to work on the railroad lines and being the porters and the rail trains and stuff, they still went home to families. They went home to intact nuclear families, mommy, daddy, kids, and dog living together. And they had good families put together. This corporate system, they busted us up. Watch this whole thing go back onto them the same way. They're going to start pulling their families apart. They're going to start having their kids, hating on them and going out and joining opioid gangs or whatever. They're trying not to do that. I see that they're trying not to do that. They're trying to be compassionate with them. But they didn't get compassionate with us. So just, I'm just saying, where's that energy that you have with us that
part
made Darnell not be able to get this job? But now the same thing, Kirk or, Kirk, whatever his name is, Nordic boy over here, sitting over here playing Call of Duty high on meth or whatever the heck they call themselves doing. He can go get himself cleaned up in a month or two, put his resume out there, go over here and get this job. They'll sweep it under the rug. Some judge gonna give him leniency of some sort, expunge it from his record, and you won't even know that he's there. But us, it's like, oh no, you have to go to jail. You had a half a joint up in your pocket that time. Darnell, that's a felony. You have to go over here. This is your third strike, dude. I'm like, what? What do you mean 3 strikes? What is this?
I just bit that apple. I ain't even did nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even do nothing. Right? So it's just like whatever. Knowing full good and well that if we would have done something, how fierce is the black man if he did do something? You know what I'm saying? He didn't even do anything. It was like,
The amount of power that we have. The amount of power that we have, they are scared. And they did not want us to stay together or keep together. They could not. They didn't want us to assemble. And then we're looking at the laws. The first one is the freedom of assembly. So if you're able to at least break that up and stop the freedom of speech between each other, they knew what they were doing in this whole capacity right now. You're right. You're right.
It's actually in a way, I'm still thinking they trying so hard to keep that stuff up. It's good that I don't have my picture up there right now. It's not working right now in the background. It's like, whatever, try to put it up, but it's good that I don't, because maybe they might get mad that there's 2 black people talking to each other. How dare we? You know what I'm saying? It's like, hello, no. It's like, how dare we? But deal with it, because since y'all don't want to deal with us, we got to build our own nation up, dude. That's what we got to do. See, we just discussed. This is a feasibility study. That's all we're doing. Feasibility studies. That's all we're doing. Same thing y'all did. Focus group. That's all it is. Focus group. So round table of some sort. So it'd be nice to have
keep creating
these round tables. We need round tables so we can talk. So we need to talk. So anyway, I know y'all know that. So anyway, preach to the comment.
So on that same train situation, this just happened in Florida, but
out of Florida, and that high-speed train disaster, at least 15 people injured in a collision with a fire truck. ABC's Rena Roy joins us now with the details on this. Good morning, Rena. This is a pretty new train.
Hey, Gio. Good morning to you. Yeah, that's right. Authorities say these firefighters were responding to an emergency when their truck was hit, and the terrifying moments were all caught on camera.
This morning, heart-stopping video shows the moments a Brightline passenger train slams into a fire truck as it attempts to cross the tracks in Delray Beach, Florida. You see the train quickly approaching, and the crossing gates appear to be down. Other cars are stopped, but the truck goes through, and then the moment of impact.
Oh my God. Can you please tell me they're okay?
Bystanders watching it all unfold, running over to help.
Did the driver get out? That's all I want to know.
The front of the train destroyed, mangled metal and shattered glass left behind, and the truck flipped on its side, also badly damaged. Officials say 12 people on board were taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
12.
3 firefighters also hurt.
2 of them were trauma alerted or deemed critical at the scene.
Authorities say they were responding to an emergency call when this happened Saturday just before 11 a.m. All of them now in stable condition.
And in a statement, Brightline says it is investigating along with the NTSB and local police. And train officials are reminding people to never drive around those gates when they're down to keep everyone safe. Janae.
So what do you do in an emergency? What you gonna do in an emergency?
Hey, yeah.
Like that view of that dude sitting in that seat and you just coming up on that train. That train was actually pretty strong to like split that fire truck in half like that. Because I was under the impression that those fire trucks are very strong, you know, but it's at a sitting position and it's on its side. It's not it's not showcasing that way. So for it to blow up like that, yeah, that posed that, you know, but you're looking at these railroad systems, most of a lot of people are not following the rules no more. They have found their own reasons. They conjured up their own reasons to not want to abide by the law now because they're frustrated and pissed off.
When I get back, I'll have a Taylor with us. So. Thank you.
So, with them being able to see that their systems, their infrastructure, their tech companies, I work in tech. How many businesses did I have to pretty much save, you know, because they was on the brink of just falling apart and it needed an emergency. So we are watching the downfall of all of their stuff, which is supposed to happen on a constant basis. Wherever we go, we're seeing the planes fall down. Just had that 179, and I didn't even, let me put that up. I still had a couple left. Let me finish out all these. But this is real in the field. It's real in the field. What else I got? Hold on. So many people passed this year. So many of them. I don't know what's this.
President Choi Sung-mok held an emergency meeting in Seoul on Sunday to discuss the country's deadliest air disaster just 2 days into his new job.
불의의 사고로 희생되신 분들의 명복을 빌며
As the acting head of the government responsible for the safety and lives of our residents, I feel an indescribable sorrow and profound regret, he said.
이루 말할 수 없는 비통함과 송구한 마음입니다.
Choi visited Muwon International Airport before the meeting, where most of the 181 people on board a Jeju Air flight died, South Korea's transport ministry said. Video shows the plane belly landing and skidding down the runway before crashing into navigation equipment and a wall in an explosion of flames and debris. Some South Koreans worry the crash, which the transport ministry calls the deadliest air accident on South Korean soil, could be mishandled amidst the country's ongoing political turmoil. Choi, South Korea's finance minister, became acting leader Friday night after Prime Minister Han Duck-soo was impeached. South Korea's parliament impeached Han less than...
I ain't gonna lie. Han Duck-soo looked like a real duck. If I had to go back, where the hell you go?
President says he's uncertain, he adds. Happening, I am handled amidst the country's ongoing political turmoil. Choi, South Korea's finance minister, became acting leader Friday night after Prime Minister Han Duck-soo was impeached. South Korea's parliament impeached Han less than 2 weeks after suspending President Yoon Suk-yeol over his short-lived attempt to impose martial law. The bewildering turnover left the government scrambling when Sunday's crash occurred. With the presidency vacant and with things like this happening, I am quite concerned that the handling may not go smoothly, says this resident. I'm feeling more anxious, he adds. This resident says he's uncertain whether the government can effectively perform its duties. Behind the
And these are young brothers. Young brothers. They're like, hold on, I can't trust these old folks. Let me finish off.
Scenes, government offices were still figuring out the chain of command and how press statements would be released, a ministry spokesperson and 4 officials told Reuters. A senior finance ministry official said it's still undecided who, if anyone, from Yoon's and Han's offices would report to Choi. Choi is leading the centralized disaster control team instead of the prime minister, who would typically be in charge, an official said. Choi on Sunday declared Muon County a special disaster zone and said the government will provide all necessary support needed.
Woo. That thing smacked right up into that. It's interesting that happened. I didn't know that they didn't have a sitting president. So you're running into places, running into countries. They are losing that makeshift faith that they had within their government and their legislative bodies. You're seeing that. And it's crazy because they'll hold somebody who, this dude was asleep, ain't got nothing to do with the person that was supposed to be doing his job and not on his job, and then had something happen like that. But when you're at the top and then you're looking at these honor in the Asian population is such a serious thing that the level of shame, guilt with something that is perceived as dishonorable, it hits all of these other places so much more drastically harder than it does America. Because you know, a lot of Americans are just like, no, I don't give a, you know. But to have so many places where their populations now have a massive amount of uncertainty, even when I bring up these videos, all of the infrastructure that I've been paying attention to, from the ships, the planes, the trains, the cars, we're in 2025 now, going into, there's been decades, there's still decades of cars that are on the road that there's no reason that the first Pinto ever made should be still on the road, that they ain't got no bumper, it ain't even got no damn car seat. It ain't even got no driver's seat. You gotta sit on your knees just to drive. How you gonna push the pedal? You gotta use your hand and drive like that. You gotta push the pedal and drive like that on your knees. That's how many raggedy ass cars are out here, because people can't afford a new car. And because they can't afford a new car, they barely can afford the insurance and let nothing not happen to their vehicle. SOL. Can't pay for the smog, especially in California. The smog is gonna get you. I got hit so many times.
It's like the people are one paycheck away from losing everything on their end. We're already underwater. Like, we're already like, what? We are so underwater. Now, at the same time, you just said like the insurance is a ton and all these other things that you got paid for, and they can't even get a car themselves. But the thing that bugs me about it is now it's a problem because they can't do it. Didn't you see this 10 years ago when we told you about this stuff? No, it was us. So you didn't care. You know what I'm saying? 20 years ago, we saw this coming. Didn't you listen to us when we wrote all these communiques to you about all these things happening? No, you didn't pay attention. No, because it was us. And you didn't care. Now it's on you. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I told you you're going to get hit upside the head, dude. You went up, you're getting hit upside the head. That's what happens.
Stop
Just because you
upside the head.
Stop hitting yourself upside the head. Anyway, whatever. My name's Bennett. I ain't in it. That's what we say in the Bay. My name's Bennett. I ain't in it.
We just observing and reporting. We looking. We trying to see why y'all ain't got no happy holly jolly Christmas and all of these things going on. So it's a lot going on. Hold on. So we're gonna pivot off all that because I think. Yeah, because we got there's so much news going on, but it's these topics are so intricately woven into when we walk into the stores, and we can literally observe and look at these people like, dang, this is what's going on over here. This is what's happening. When we really don't get the news as we should get it, I'm just like, dude, I gotta smile. I gotta be happy. I gotta be calm, because Everything is happening. The animals are attacking them. The dog this morning. Oh my God! That's why I think I found this video right here. The lady's dog ran off from her. Was running towards me. It was a Great Dane, and then she come back here. That dog sprinted at her and then tackled her. I ain't never been hit by a big dog like that, but that dog ran her over. So I'm saying,
gonna
listen,
show
because,
it?
like,
You gonna show it? I got
with a dog video. I don't have that dog video. I got another video.
Never mind.
I got one.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, just the fact that the animals are not agreeing with them. I mean, I want to show you this. That's just a lie. Yeah, you better be scared. That's a whole full line. He could have jumped over that. That lion could have jumped. I mean, that was a tiger, my bad. But I was in a farm in northern China, a Siberian tiger. That Siberian tiger could have jumped over that. But he had the force to be able to knock that off of the trajectory, off that rack, off the rail. And that's the difference that we're dealing with right now. All of these different, like, we just went through so many issues where the things went off of the rail. We had so many derailments this year. Well, not just this year, but we wind up having.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm on live.
Oh, you on live?
Yeah,
Oh.
you viral now. You went viral. You just photobombed. Now I wanted to tell Mother Love happy birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I'll hit her up after.
Okay.
She can join in. She can join in tomorrow. I'm on.
Okay. Well, yeah. The grandkids just came back in the door from going to the store.
No problem.
We'll call you back in a little bit.
Enjoy your time. All right.
All right. Love you.
Love you too. Bye. So yeah, that's my second mom. That's my surrogate mom when my mom left. But yeah, with the damn tiger. But what brought me to that video is that I remember seeing this mountain lion just out of nowhere just started attacking them. But it's like, it's not, I bring that up because it's like, it's not going to be a happy Christmas for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs come the beginning of the new year. Coming in the beginning of the new year, seeing, it's crazy because I'm looking at this and these were all before, I don't know where I came across with this, but this was all, I remember all of these. A lot of these were before Esau's trouble. These are like all the Christmas Day things that they just showing our people, but this is what they used to have online showcasing that our people, like, this was happening to us on Christmas Days, murder Harry and Mary Moore. Like, it's crazy. And the only one so they're starting to show the ones that are after. It's the one at the Q Club, the LGBTQ, Sam Cooke. All of this stuff is happening after the fact. Like, I remember watching this, and we used to have, it used to be an issue. I used to have a major issue with watching things that happen to our people on Christmas time. And now that I'm looking at this, it's like, huh?
So, brother, before you start this one up here, though, we had previously the sister came on. She said just you're being monitored and be mindful of what you're putting out there. This is something I want to say about the fear factor that tries to stop us from getting together to have discussions and conversations. Mm-hmm. I don't feel that we're dumb enough to be telling too much of the info. Like, what we're talking about is we're just talking. We're just letting each other know, yeah, we're on the same page. It's like basically like Eazy-E said, right? I have to quote some West Coast G stuff.
Oh yeah,
don't quote me, boy, because I ain't said shit. We ain't said nothing yet that shouldn't already be truth. It's already truth. We already know this. But what we're doing is
Mhm.
we're pointing out, like brother said, he wants to point it out and showcase it because it's here. This is a sign. It's here. But when they say, watch what you're saying and be careful and don't say too much, get out of the fear. It's time for the fear to be gone. I had that fear for a long, long, long time, like to not say anything in front of people. I didn't want to take up too much time, be too loud on the mic or anything like that, right? Now it's like the Most High is telling me, speak, girl. You better go do something. Help somebody. Do something. Put it out there. Have a discussion about something. You got skills. Go ahead and do it. Get to work, you know? So it's like we're just getting ready for when next happens. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's what I want to do. Be ready for when next happens because we got it. Just remember that when we're doing all this sort of.
That's why I keep saying that we're in a war zone. Like, I need to be able to know confidently that you got my 6. You already know confidently, because I know confidently that I have your 6. That's what we need to be able to get to and be able to join hands and trust each other when we do say things. That if I am going to say something, that my people are going to have my back. Like Lisa Cabrera today, she said something about the transgenders today, and she just asked a question, and the people had her back about how they felt, because we are going through these experiences, and to not feel ashamed or scared in any capacity. But I understand, because yes, we've gone to those where we've been emotionally triggered and driven, where we just go off the meat ground, we just say anything and everything just because we're in the heat of the moment. But I understand the fact that I know that I'm led by the Holy Spirit. And even while I'm talking to you now, I'm being recorded. But it's so important that we not be scared, like you just said. But I understand we're being cautious, because we know that these are their platforms. These are their real. These are their companies. He's the CEO. He got his people in there. So the moment that we retract and pull ourselves back, and that's why I can respect it. You know, you got Big Levi going on the Patreon because they want to mess with the membership. You know, those are the things that because we think that we can just act like we own a building that we're just neighborhood guests in. Like, these are these people's platforms, they station. So when they do come into our community, in our hoods, or they come into our establishments, yes, we do set the ground. We do change the precedents. So that's why I am okay with seeing that, because when we start partying and we making way more money than y'all, and we doing all of this, don't come back with that. Y'all better keep that same energy. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
We have watched you guys treat us like shit for years and never hired us, never did anything. So going into the new year of American employment, you don't have white women. You don't have white men. You don't have young white men. They're fapping and they're playing Call of Duty and they're on OnlyFans. You're not hiring no black young men. You're not hiring no young black women. You're not hiring the older black, middle black men, middle black women, elder black women, or elder black men. Our elder black women and men should be the most highly paid, because they are our teachers. They have the wisdom. They're able to hand and pass that down to be able to. I don't even see. I'm talking. See, that's why I don't even say. Well, we're gonna have these private conversations on a Zoom or on a Patreon or where. We are nation building. We already started with Big Levi with what we're talking about and what we're doing. So with all of the people that we know that we're seeing, we're building our own and we're supporting each other. You know, like I have Lisa Cabrera on here, and she has, and she's showcasing her product, and we support her. And people are supporting even the music that I do. So it's, however we can be able to support each other, that's where we're coming back outside now. We're coming back. Dipping our toes back into getting back comfortable with ourselves and with our family and friends and the company that we keep. I'm getting back comfortable being able to talk like this and have guests on. You know what I'm saying? To have you guys, it's a humble honor. Like, I'm thankful, because I'd have been sitting here just talking to my damn self. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate the conversation, because we have reverberated off of each other so many frequencies of stuff that we needed to be able to address, and I had dealt with so much where it's like, I didn't know how to say it or speak on it, because I was afraid of the opinions of people, how they thought about me. And that was outside realm. That's how much polarizing they did what they did to us, to where it made me think, and I had to reset myself. going through the last 4 years, we had to reset ourselves from a working comparison right now. Like I know that I have the capabilities. I know that we all have hustle. We all have drive and we want to strive to do, but try to make it under anybody else's supremacy like that. Just even when we were talking about earlier, should we go and get hired by these companies? We're going to be under the supremacy of anybody else until we actually take the damn courage to actually stand up and build our own. It's going to be scary. It is putting us in a position where it's uncomfortable, but at the same time, damn it, my mama said, hey, don't never sweat, baby. She had that tattooed on her. She said, never sweat.
They are not going to be able to do it again like they did it last time. They're not going to be able to do it.
No.
They are not.
So we're
not going to get another. We're not going to get another Tulsa. It's not going to happen.
I'm gonna play that other video you sent me because I got that one, and then it's a solar flares now, Northern California. The winter weather. Let me see what else. Make sure I got Jimmy Carter passed. Let me see. Snow. I was talking about the thick fog yesterday. That affected so much travel today. That's important because these people can't come back. They can't come back home. And then you got companies that are like, hey, we're expecting you to be at work on January 1st. If you can't make it, you're fired. That's where companies are at now because they're
firing everybody and getting all their resignations at the same time.
But it's funny you just said that because I remember working on the Walmarts and there was a lady in the pharmacy. She was like, I can't keep nobody hired. Why? Because she was like, I hire them and they work for 2 weeks and then they go off and they go get unemployment. So all they've been trying to do is scam the system. That's what I'm noticing about them now is that they're skimming and scamming the system, trying to get by, knowing that certain things are not happening. So now they're going underground.
We know what time it is, though. We know what time it is. We know what time it is. So we know.
We know. So, and it's about planning your career. I'm gonna play this video with the sister, and let me put that on.
Hey guys, it's Anne Marie and welcome to the Anti-HR. And on this video, we are going to be planning for the new work year, right? So I spoke recently about things to think about in terms of getting ready for reviews. And now I want to talk a little bit about things that you should think about as you get ready to go from one work year into a new year, whether you're operating on a fiscal 12-month year or whether you're operating on a different type of year. January always signifies a beginning for most of us. And so as you go into your holiday break, some of you are probably taking off all of next week and some of you are even going to be away from work until after January 2nd. I think a lot of people's first work day will probably be around January 6th, if you're lucky. For those in corporate settings, others who are in different kinds of settings like retail and other places and factories are probably not getting as much time off, or might be, depending if you're a union worker or so on. But either way, January tends to signify a beginning for many of us. Even those of us who are entrepreneurs, in December and November, we're planning for our businesses for the new year. So as you start thinking about the new year, especially if you are a person who is not self-employed and is working for other people, then this video is for you. I'm going to share some essential career planning tips and help you start your year off strong and also keeping top of mind your workplace rights, right? So let's ensure you're ready for a new year and let's get started. So a great way to get started for the new year, believe it or not, is to start looking backwards, right? You want to think about what went right in your last year and what did not go so right, so you can plan to address those things in the new year. So start out with what went right? Write down the things that went right. What were the big wins? What were the big victories? What were the big accomplishments, right? Write those things down. Think about even the hard lessons that you learned from the big wins, right? And write those things down. Now, let's shift a little bit to what exactly do you want to achieve in terms of the next year, right? What do you want to achieve at work? What are the goals that you have? What are the things that you want to do? One of the things that I do think is very useful is to use SMART goals. And that is capital SMART, SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, right? That's a very good way to go about tracking and paying attention and setting goals at work and elsewhere, honestly. I use the SMART goal method even for setting personal and professional goals in my life, right? So that is something that I definitely recommend that you keep top of mind as you think through and set your goals for the next year. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not take this opportunity to remind you about the Anti-HR Documentation Journal. It's perfect for capturing progress and career milestones. It is a downloadable e-book and e-journal that you can grab on my website and use it to track all the different incidents and including goals at your job. Write down things that have happened throughout the year, pay attention and write them down. And this is an excellent way to do it because you can just enter all the information into the journal. You can also attach files in there and so on. So this is a great place for doing that. So I suggest grabbing access to the journal and using it throughout the year, and January is the perfect time to start. I always say the best time to document your workplace is before anything goes wrong. So starting in January, start writing down things in your journal about your work environment. Pay attention to what's going on in your work environment. Write down things that you plan to do. Write down how you interact with your manager and your other coworkers. Keep track of incidents, not just things that happen to you, but things that you see and observe. The documentation journal is perfect for that. So I highly recommend that if you don't have one, that you grab access to it now and plan to start using it in January as soon as your new work year starts. Now, the other thing you want to make sure that you are thinking about and have top of mind as you start your new work year is to make sure you're heading into the new year knowing and understanding your workplace rights. So how do you do that? Well, you want to start by making sure you review your company's policies on discrimination, harassment, and workplace conduct. But don't just stop there. Make sure you also have a handle on understanding the legal protections provided to you by federal law as well as local, whether it's city or state law, okay? Make sure that you download a copy of your employment handbook, right? Make sure you highlight policies that you believe are relevant to you, and make sure that you have access to that outside of your job. This is very, very important, and you've heard me mention this before if you've been following me for a while. It's very important that you have access to your employee handbook. I know a lot of you are in work environments where all this information is on an online portal now, and the problem is that a lot of people are not, accessing these things regularly, and they think, oh, I'll just go back to the portal whenever I need it. I highly recommend that you have access to these things independent of that portal. So if your handbook is on there, download it from the portal and keep a copy of it at home. Do not think that, oh, I'll just get it from the portal. Because if something happens at work, a lot of times the first thing that they do is cut your access to things. And being on a portal makes that easier for them to do. Never think that they created these portals for you. They created it for themselves. So make it your business to download anything from that portal that you need to have and keep it on a drive at your home, right? Do not rely on that portal and having access to it all the time. The other thing that's important is that you understand your workplace rights in terms of what the laws are. So I have created a roadmap to workplace rights that summarizes very important legal protections that employees have, laws that are federal that employees need to know about. And they're all summarized in this downloadable ebook that I created, and you can also grab from my website. I do not go into state laws because that would be thousands of pages long, but I do encourage you to use that as the first step to educating yourself about what the state law provisions are around the same rights that you have at a federal level. But always remember that federal law supersedes state law. So even if your state doesn't have a law around a certain right, they still have to follow the federal law. Okay, your employer still has to follow the federal law. Even if your state doesn't have protections for you that are strong, there are federal protections and you need to know what they are. So make sure that you have downloaded that roadmap to workplace rights. Right now it's on sale until January 2nd. So I really encourage those of you who have not yet gotten a hold of that document to make sure that you have it. It's very important to know what rights you have right now so that if any of them start going away, you'll also understand what it is that you're losing and be prepared to take whatever necessary action is to try to protect yourself. So right now, all of the key workplace rights that employees need to know about, it's not every single one, but it's the most important ones in my view, are inside of that ebook. And I highly recommend that you use that as a starting point to educating yourself about your workplace rights. Before I go any further, I also want to make sure that I tell you that I have written a blog post about, planning for the new year in your workplace and things that you should do. So this is a more detailed blog post than what is in this video, and it is attached as a link in the description of this video. So please make sure that you read that blog in its entirety so that you can really understand everything that you should think about as you are planning for a new year at work. Also, I haven't said it yet, but if you're enjoying this video so far, now is a great time for you to stop, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and later at the end of this video, share it with a friend if you think it'll be helpful to them. Now, the third thing that you want to make sure that you do as you're planning and thinking about what you want to accomplish in your job in the next workplace year is to address workplace concerns before they escalate. So if you face challenges at work like microaggressions, retaliation, or bias, now's the time to address them. Don't let them sit any longer. Unfortunately, when employees speak up about any kinds of issues at work, but especially violations of the law at work, they often will face backlash in the form of retaliation. So if this sounds familiar, you need to know that you have options. I want to make sure that employees understand what they need to do if they feel that they have been discriminated against at work. That's why I created my master course, How to Ask for an Exit from a Discriminatory Hostile Work Environment with Cash and Actually Get It. This course walks you through how to recognize when staying is no longer worth it, negotiate your exit on your terms, and secure compensation during your departure. No one should feel trapped in a toxic work environment, and no one should especially feel trapped in a discriminatory, hostile, and toxic work environment. If you're starting your year in an environment that you know you need to exit, this course is going to help you do it in a way that serves you. My holiday sale is still happening, so it's the perfect time to grab your access to the course. So go to my website and get it at the discounted price. But whatever you do, if this is you, if I'm describing your experience, you have the right to do something about it and you have the power to do something about it. So grab your access and do what needs to be done. Now, the next thing that it's very important for you to have a plan to do in the new year is prioritize your professional development. I cannot overemphasize the importance of using the professional development that you have at your disposal in your workplace. Now, everyone doesn't have equal access to professional development. Some employers make it very easy for you to access, and some employers don't make it as easy for you to access. But it's very important for you to know what professional development benefits your employer provides, if any, and that you take advantage of all of it. Take advantage of anything that is available to you. So whether it's mastering new skills, getting new certifications, stepping into a new role, professional development should be your top priority. Make sure you're ready to take the steps that you need by educating yourself about what is available for you, right? And a lot of times, again, that wonderful online portal that they love to tell you about at work is where a lot of this information is. And always remember, if you don't see something that you are looking for, go to HR and ask questions. Don't sit back and wait for anybody to give you the information. Seek it out. This is your professional development. Put yourself in the driver's seat of your career and make sure you're taking advantage of whatever your employer offers. The next thing that you want to make sure that you're doing from the very beginning of the year, and this goes double if your company operates on a 12-month calendar year, but even if your reviews don't start till, for example, some companies, they start their review year on July 1st, for example, and they end their fiscal year in June. Regardless of when it takes place, make sure that you're setting yourself up for performance reviews from the very beginning. Performance reviews happen year round, so why not start thinking about it from the very beginning of the year? You should always have your performance top of mind and always be thinking about what you need to do to ensure that your supervisor, your management, your company is thinking about you in the way that you think that they should be thinking about you relevant to your performance. Start now by tracking your goals, tracking your contributions, paying attention to making sure that you have a process for tracking all of these things from the very beginning of the year. And as I said before, your anti-HR documentation journal can be a great tool for this. It doesn't have to just be about writing down grievances and writing down things that went bad at work. It can also be a place where you write down the good things that have happened and the good things that you accomplished in your work environment, so that when it comes time for you to write your self-evaluation, for example, you will have all that information in one place. Okay, so it's very important from the beginning of the work year for you to be thinking about how you're going to keep track of and document your achievements in your workplace, your wins, the things that you accomplished for your company and for your team, so that you can bring those things up when performance review time comes around. As you can see from everything I've said in this video, planning the year out means being intentional and being serious about it from the very beginning. It means being proactive and prepared, okay? So you want to reflect on your wins, reflect on protecting your rights, and set big goals for your future. Don't leave this in the hands of anyone else. Do not expect anyone else to do this for you. Do not expect your manager. Do not expect your manager's manager. Don't expect your coworkers to be helping you do this. This is your job and your job alone. It is your responsibility to put yourself in the driver's seat of your career and to make sure that you are being intentional, proactive, and really thinking through the things that are important for you to ensure your career advancement. There are always going to be obstacles, but those who are ready in the beginning are prepared to face those obstacles if and when they come. As I always say, you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So I hope this video and the tips that I've provided about planning and getting ready for the new year have been helpful, right? I really hope that they have given you something to think about. Those of you who haven't already been thinking about this, that you think about the importance of having a plan when you return back to the office, whether that's on Thursday of this week, right after Christmas, or whether it's not until the beginning of January. Whenever you're going back to work, I hope that this video will help you in terms of getting ready to do that in a way that is most effective and serving to you. Always remember that you are not there to just serve the advancement and the goals and the success of your company. You are there to serve yourself. These are transactional relationships. You have been hired to do a job and you're being paid for it. And that is what you need to always remember. They're not your friends. They're not your family. They are your employers. And the thing that you do owe them is to do a good job in exchange for what you are paid to do it, right? But at the end of the day, if you want to be successful, you have to map the course for ensuring that you are successful in your job. No one else is going to do it for you, right? So if you want certain goals and things to be met at your job, you have to have a plan for making those things happen. Make your manager and your colleagues a partner in that, but that has to be your goal and your objective. Closed mouths don't get fed. Don't expect anybody to give you anything that you don't ask for. Make sure you have a plan for how you're going to go about getting the things that you need so that you can have the best possible experience in your work environment. So I hope this video was helpful. As always, I'm Anne Marie. I'm the anti-HR lady. I really hope that all of you have the happiest of holidays with your families and friends. And remember that those are truly those people in your life that matter. In the end, it's not your job, it's not your employers, it's those people in your life that matter. So I hope that as you take breaks for Christmas Day, which is this week, I hope that you will set aside any stressful, things that are happening in your workplace. Don't let those things encroach on your enjoyment of your holiday season and the enjoyment of your time with your families. Set those things aside and plan to just come back to them when you go back to work, whenever that is. And just remember that it is your responsibility to ensure that you have the experiences that you need to have at work by being prepared and ready and intentional about it. HR is not your enemy, but they're definitely not your friend. Have a happy holiday, you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Ain't that something? It's amazing. It is amazing. It's good to be informed. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Should be able to post that link up. Let's see it pop up. So, should be able to see that link. That is the link to the lady that is in there. Love the sister Anne Marie. And so, yeah, we try to bring as many informative videos that's going to help our people out, our people helping our people out, instead of, keeping all of everything in the vault and keeping it to yourself and not, sharing with the folks. Man, that's what we kept running into. That's what I know that I kept running into. Like, I dealt with OGs that was just not trying to be helpful, in no capacity. It's like, that ain't helping, But we good on this end. We good. We've been prepared. We're getting prepared. We're staying prepared. We're not walking around in no fear. And, this was to showcase and highlight the environment for the working class American, the American employment structure, the ins and outs of the corporate American culture that they want to use the word now. Looks like you backstage. I don't know why that's the case. Saying you can't hear. What do you mean you can't hear? Can you hear me? Show. Okay. I'm glad you can hear me. So, but yeah, we wanted to highlight definitely the stuff that has been going on in the work environment, because we all have been going through those situations working under these companies, and we have all had the same identifying stories. We've had the same problems trying to get up and move on up, and George Jefferson said it, trying to move to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We deserve that. We desire that. And why can't we have it? But we ran into so many obstacles where you guys made it apparent and made it very clear that y'all didn't want us to have it. It's not like we said we didn't want to have it. We always made it a way to try to make something happen for ourselves. But we watch all of you guys say that, nah, we don't want y'all to have it. So, and we walked around every day, all day, like, what do we do? What do we do? And we got to the point where we're like, you know what we need to do? We need to actually sit down. We need to have a conversation. We need to talk amongst ourselves. We need to have these round tables. We need to be able to discuss the things, no matter how crazy, no matter how harsh, no matter how uncomfortable. We need to be able to heal We need to be able to communicate. Communication and understanding is the key to healing. I'm going to always keep saying that, is that communication, being able to communicate and convey with the much evidence and facts and conciseness to be able to elaborate what we're trying to get across. That's the important part of where people are like, okay, I get it. You gave me that analogy. Oh, okay, I get it. I'm able to digest it and process it. Maybe been confusing to me before, or I may not want to have listened to them because I didn't trust anything that they were saying. But when you come across reputable sources that say, like this channel, yes, you have the ability to be informed by people from the nation now, people who actually have gone through these experiences as well as you have. So to be able to have a greater discussion about what we're going to be seeing upcoming, we're going to be running into these issues with all of with the illegal immigrants. We're going to be running into these situations where we're going to be faced with people who are CEOs that do not look like us, who feel like they're putting on the wetsuit of white superiority as if they can fit it themselves. And so people are so inclined to want to cozy up and fit up in these suits that they forget who they are. And so you have all of these other nationalities across the world that have forgotten who they are because they have been oppressively capitulative to white superiority's ideology and capitalistic infrastructure that has colonized not only America, but the world as a whole. And these people are starting to see that all the wrongdoing that was done is starting to seep back up to the surface, and it's starting to scratch and itch on people all over. And so because we have dealt with this for such a long time in all of these different industries, these companies have shown us that they did not love us, they did not care about us, they did not want to pay us, they did not want to promote us. And so we are going into this new year of like, okay, what are all of y'all going to do? Because what we're going to do is not even be involved. We're not going to spend our money. We're not going to do any of these things because you guys have not shown us not one bit, not 1 ounce of anything for us to be even shown or even feel some type of change. And because that change hasn't come, we are more than willing to be like, you know what, we're going to wash our hands and we're going to walk away and we're going to be at peace. And we're going to dismiss it and we're going to be over here. Well, why don't you stay? No, we're not going to be going back to between this toxic relationship that we have with all of these people. We are divorcing ourselves. We are divorcing our energy, our everything, and keeping it to ourselves. So as long as we're doing that and we good, hey, we good. Ain't even no need to be getting mad about whatever is going on. Seeing all these people having heated debates about seeing, many of these people have sold their businesses and not looked back. But now that their lives are being jacked up, now they're looking back like, oh, I wish I should have kept the building. I was the founder of it. I deserve to be because I founded it. And people were feeling like they have some type of stake and claim to something that because this is business. You sold over your rights. You gave up the company. You did this and did that. So how anybody else uses the company, so be it. You can't get mad at that. Same thing with like Fubu. You can't get mad because it went into Walmart and went into the hands of Sam Walton. Can't get mad at none of this stuff because people didn't recognize their worth or seen their worth, or they have been constantly undermined and depreciated for their worth to where they like, man, I got to compromise to make something out of this. I got to do something out of this. I got to make something out of one of these things happen. So because of that, yeah, we're running into the situation where people are tired. We have been tired. For 100 plus years, we've been tired. And it's been that tiresome has been passed down to where it's turned into anger. It's turned into agitation. It's turned into so many different emotions that we needed to retract and contain because we were getting out of character. Our behavior was inappropriate. And we started to recognize that the Most High had us under a curse and that he needed to break us down in order for us to be built back up. Disattached from Babylon, disattached from white superiority and supremacy, disattached from thinking and being duped that anybody who looks like us is our friend, or anybody who is of a dark complexion is a friend. We've been shown on numerous occasions that people have chose to cozy up next to us and perpetuate being a friend, and then come to find out you guys were stabbing us in the back from the get-go. So I just wanted to highlight this part of the segment. I think I ran out of all the videos that I wanted to show on this part, but I'm already setting up for tomorrow's conversation, which should definitely be just as spicy as this. So I appreciate everybody chiming in and sharing the video and have a part of the conversation, because I feel like these are important. It's people's livelihood. Anybody who's working needs to be able to see these videos, to be able to see what is going on around them. They see it, but may not pay attention. If you're at work and you got headphones on, you're able to walk around and listen to this channel and the podcast, and hey, take the time to be able to be informed. And so I want to just keep our people informed, because I get excited when I see things like that makes sense to us to be able to pay attention to them. And so we've gone over a lot of things, and there's so much more. I don't want us to take our eyes off the ball. I don't want us to be passive or dismissive to the things that did happen. We need to be able to glue together our hindsight, insight, and foresight, and understand and know that all of them together in the trifecta are powerful. And so the spiritual connection that we have with the Most High God and the Holy Spirit and our angels are driving us. They're driving us away from all of the mess and driving us to paradise right now, without a cloud in sight. That silver lining was beautiful too. We stand on the shoulders of greatness, and I get goosebumps and I get emotional, because I know that what the people that walked these lands before me went through was complete and pure hell. So to be able, for the last 5 years, to be able to witness on this side of the grass is green, that all of their sacrifices and suffering did not go for naught. And so that's why I didn't want to disappoint my mom, because I was like, I don't want to disrespect the people that have walked this land before I have, because they really went through some stuff. And I can't imagine sitting at a diner and somebody spitting on me and sitting next to me, calling me a nigger, and like, you getting fucked up. Like, I can imagine at the time. So people was definitely in their prayer mode. They had way more prayer at that time than me to keep that peace. That's some level of discipline and peace that I have to check myself of not being envious about, because it was just so magical. They may not have had this structuralization that we may have in our time right now, but they had so much that we don't have, or that has faded, or has become non-existent, or it's just dormant. Really, it's just dormant. A lot of the people that we have around the world that are assimilated with 83, the Moabites, it's all there. They all have the same. To be able to see channels like this, for them to get a better understanding of who they are, because they are inquiring about these questions. It's a good thing. We're doing a good thing. What we're talking about is a good thing. Others may look at it as we're not worried about how it makes them feel. That's what we need to get out of what we do and how we act and how we conduct ourselves, and however we talk. We should not be concerned about the comfortability of how the rest of them are going to perceive and look at what we do and what we say and how we feel. We have done that far and long and too much. That is time to stand up, and it's time to rise and to be able to build what we want to build and do what we want to do, and support who we want to support without feeling like, the retaliation, just like the beloved sister said. I went through retaliation at my job right now. I told them, hey, I need a break. Y'all been out here running me raggedy, and you're not trying to give me a raise or even trying to hire me. He was like, well, if you don't stay on the job right now, that calls for, expulsion of your employment. I'm like, wow. So the fact that you would even say that because you just sent me a text just not long ago that I'm doing my best to get you hired on and all these things. And that's what I have always been saying, is pushing, dangling that carrot and pushing the goalposts and making it difficult to even be able to have these conversations. Why? Because they'll keep you going. They'll keep you working. They'll keep you occupied. So the fact that that was the case, and most of the time we got to stay occupied because kids need presents at the time. We got to pay these bills. We got to do all of this stuff. So a lot of things may not have gotten prioritized like they could and should have been. There's one of the videos before, the lady was like, hey, a lot of people have to choose between getting a car fixed or eating tonight. I know that very often. I know that very well. I grew up with that. We grew up with these things. These were scenarios that we had already lived out, that the blueprint templates. So we know what it is. We have walked these walks. So to see that people are not handling the pressure, they are not work ready, they don't have the necessary skills, they do not have the functionality to be able to be in these positions, and just don't really have the desire. So it is very important for us to keep an eye out for the behavior and the habits and the conduct of how all these people were moving. It's a good thing. These are great things. All the hooting and hollering, these are great things. All the companies looking like that, these are great things. These are all great things that are happening. Let them do what they do. Because it's going to be World War III amongst them. Because every single one of them are going to look at each other like, well, we contributed and we helped you get to where you got to. And we deserve. Every one of these people are going to be ranting and raving and talking about how much they deserve. That they deserve part is definitely a conversation that should be up for debate. Because if you guys are going to do that, you guys have completely bypassed a particular people who've actually been the dictionary definition of oppressed, of tortured, etc., etc., etc. So this is just letting our brothers and sisters know out there you may not have gotten that raise. They may not have promoted you. But I don't want you to get hostile. I don't want you to get emotional. I don't want you to get triggered. I don't want you to grab the chair and go and bop it up somebody's head. We need you to understand that this was designed for you never to succeed. This is the Most High God removing you from that titty of dependency on Uncle Sammy White Zaddy. And Lady Liberty of lust. And it's going to be hard. It's hard for us to be able to disattach to ourselves from that and be able to create your own. Create your own, build your own, do your own. So you can be able to show yourself, so you can be able to show your fellow brothers and sisters, so you can be able to show your children, your legacy. We got to start leading by example. We gotta we got to keep understanding that our presentation is our best representation. Any job that I was on, I had to present myself in the highest of capacity. You're going to work 2 times harder and get half of the reward. There's a video that I'll play the next time. Dude just retired as a barber after working 70 years. You know how many brothers and sisters that would love to be retiring from all of the hours that they have given for all of these different jobs. And it's crazy because no matter how many of these jobs that I done worked, I can't sit here and accumulate all of them and turn them into one big old, what is that, Play-Doh ball of different colors to be able to accumulate something that may be Social Security or any type of incentive. I would love to create that somebody who works within the umbrella of any one of our companies and our corporations and enterprises, that, yeah, your records transfer, that your ability does matter, that every year that you will be incentivized, you will get that bump and that raise and that promotion. I want our people to be excited. I want to be able to give our people an opportunity to, hey, you work 11 months, you get a whole month off to go on a vacation, or maybe if you want to go on a vacation, or it could be a workcation. You can go on a workcation to go and train some people over in another place, and then you got a vacation with it. That's how it was for me working. I was able to do what I was doing and still activate ley lines, still get out here and be, ministering to the people, doing the work I'm supposed to be doing to show thyself approved. And so to be able to create these systems, like I said, I'm working on these things. My phone is filled with businesses that, well, I want to have a construction company, a real estate investment trust company. I wanted to open up a bank. And these are a lot of conversations that I want to be able to pull off on the side, so I could be able to show you guys that comparison here. We're public. So for us to have these conversations, we need to track them off and go into a group chat, whether it's WhatsApp or Zoom. I'm always on Zoom too. Like I said, I post up my number and my email, and people that are interested, like I said, stocks. I got stock tips, I got crypto, all of these different information that we need to at least have a greater understanding of how we can utilize these things and maneuver through this system. The only way to maneuver through this system is with the Most High. It's literally separating ourselves from whatever's been going on and just sitting back and getting our popcorn and watching these things happen without us being able to put any inclination of our energy into it, to being able to separate ourselves. I know so many people who got involved in all of these things, and look, lo and behold, they jacked up now. They jacked up now. All these people who have already been involved and they're entangled. I seen a video of one of the Jackson sisters. She looked like she's on her way out. There's a lot of people that have participated in a lot of these devious and diabolical. Long Beach. All crazy stuff going on these Epstein Islands and all these things to make themselves better. That's why I showed you that video of the lady who was talking about they was teaching them how to lie. They was working it out every day on how they can lie better, or how they can manipulate and be diabolical to their fellow man. Is that what we've come to? That's what we're seeing now. That's what you guys have created. We sit here and watch all of these shows of suspense and horror, whether it's The Walking Dead, whether it's Black Summer, whether it's Squid Games. And we sit here and look at these different scenarios where they make us think about if we were in that scenario, because it's a great form of escapism. Because why? People can't stand that reality. They can't stand going to work and having to sit there next to Buford in the belly buttons. scratching their butt and they ain't even doing no work. So everybody's can't wait to get off of work to go and indulge in their vices, their temptations, whether it's drinking, smoking, porn, gambling, you name it. Everybody has that one little thing that they want to do when they get off from work, feeling like they have achieved in some capacity. But in the motions of you sitting here wanting to get to your escapism, that company is thankful that that's all you want to do. They're thankful that you are not questioning what they're doing under the table. They're thankful that you ain't coming to the HR department to inquire about more information about, accelerating your career horizons. They're happy that you just want to be okay with just making less than an immigrant, illegal immigrant at that. So I don't want us to be fooled by any of the things that we see. So that's why I bring these things to the table, because I want our people to be informed. I want this to be shared out on the massive capacity, because it's needed. It's needed, and we are needed, and we need each other. I need you guys as much as you guys need me, and I'm here. I'm here for all the popcorn. We gonna enjoy ourselves. We're gonna enjoy ourselves, and we ain't gonna be mad about nothing. We ain't gonna be mad that we get removed or put out on situations, because any person who's reacting that way now, or businesses is kicking us out and all that stuff, they have literally sold their demise. The moment they get rid of the Black person that is in the company, they get rid of their blessing. Their blessing is gone. I was a blessing to those companies. Most of the companies that I worked at, raggedy, horrible management. You could have easily gave me the position. And the companies and it's people that are always so adamant about their skills and their ability to do the work and stuff like that. And it's just like, man, just give me a chance. Well, oh, Darnell, we don't know. And so we deal with this boxing out from blue collar to white collar in the tech industries. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to bridge everybody together, because they don't want to be left out. They're scared to not be connected. But the fact that they're even scared more because they realize how much that they went out of their way to disconnect with us and to treat us the way they did. So the fact that we have gotten to the point where we completely disconnected from them, they don't realize that the disconnection came from such a spiritual angle that they have no answers for it. They're blown away. They're quiet. They're like, I'm completely baffled. I didn't expect this. Black men are not hitting on Becky anymore. Like Darnell and Jamal, they don't want this Becky and Vanessa and Veronica anymore. No. Oh, they don't want to come and work at this job. They don't want to come and stack they don't want to stack these Pampers. No. Oh, you don't want to vote Republican, or you don't want to vote Democrat? Well, you're not Black. Yeah, y'all told us these things. Y'all made it clear that we were not qualified. All these jobs that are out here, and y'all ain't got nobody. All these jobs, all these businesses, all these buildings, all these railroads, all these freeways. I drive these freeways, and these freeways are always under construction for years. I remember watching a video about this building in China that got built in like 40 days, one of those. I believe that was the same thing out in London, where it was like they built it in like 15 to 40 days. They built the whole skyscraper. All of this stuff is very possible. Even with them building those skyscrapers in that amount of time, brothers would have had it done and immaculate. Brothers can't wait to want to go to work and feel purposeful, to be able to come back home to their woman and their kids, being like, baby, I went and got that check. I did that. For them to come back home to their children and be like, hey, daddy got you. I'm gonna secure this bag. I'm gonna lock in. I'm locked in, and I'm willing to dedicate myself to this position or this job or this company for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. If you got my back too. And we be under that impression a lot of the times, thinking that these people got our back. And so I'm telling my young brothers and sisters out there, be careful, be mindful these next 4 years, dealing with them. For all of the ones that I know that are still dealing with them, I got brothers that are still dating interracial, still love that vanilla swirl. For all of my sisters out there who love that vanilla swirl too, these next 4 years definitely are going to show so much. They are going to show their ass. They are pushing all of their Texas Hold'em poker chips to the table. They're going to put so much faith into their white Jesus, aka Trump. And for him not to be able to deliver the miracles that they are privilegedly demanding to happen. And when it doesn't get met, they're going to realize that, oh, Santa Claus is not real. That's the point that it's going to get to. And they're going to realize 4 years later that that harsh reality is, damn, we let 8 years go by and fall this far from glory. They're going to fall so hard into a lava pit. We're already seeing how it's formulating out right now. They're killing their own kids. They're killing their own kids. Their young little boys are watching all porn. They're all watching porn. They're fat. They're jacking off 3-4 times a day. I'm like, God damn, y'all got a hell of a little Tesla tank down there. The women are desperately trying to come to our men because they realize that their men are not measuring up, or they're not becoming adequate to where they can't keep Becky satisfied and happy. So you got a lot of men and a lot of women who are cheating in their relationships, married. On their side, they thought that it was going to be all the way happily ever after. And because either one of them got emotionally triggered, because there's so many things out there to trigger us to get to that point, these people were 9-8-8 and taking the whole family and the dog with them. So where's the workforce when these people are getting locked up? And even then, while they're getting locked up, they can't even take it in there because now they're dealing with brothers in there that have been in there for a long time. And so they're like, welcome to our world. And a lot of these dudes are square bears. They ain't never had a KKK bone in their body. So they show. But quiet is kept. It's in your blood. It's always been there and it never will go away. They can't go sit with the brothers. They can't go sit with the Asians or the Mexicans, anything like that. So which side of the pendulum are you going to be on? And so they realize that, hey, I'm going to have to side with this. And they're like, I can't handle this. So you're seeing so many different prison breaks. That's going to be on tomorrow's. I got some stuff I'm already while I was doing this show, I was getting geared up for tomorrow. We're going to have some fun, y'all. I just want to keep gathering all of our people and bring them in on board of what we're doing, however this work, and keep getting out, sharing. There's so many people I know, and I'm looking forward to keep sharing and bringing this to everybody's attention so they can understand that all the stuff that they know me for years that I have been talking about is finally coming to fruition. All of the stuff that y'all sat here and was looking at me like, man, I don't believe that shit. I don't know what you talking about. You crazy, Prime. And a lot of those people are very, very quiet. And now they're coming back to my channel now because they listening now. People want to listen to them. Come on back. Come on back. It's okay. You still get welcome with love and arms. But you still gonna get these cold potatoes, motherfucker. Yeah. You gonna get these cold potatoes. But yeah, I love y'all. We're gonna end it here, and I'm gonna get it set up for the next show. I got some books to be going through and all that stuff. But yeah, man, this is fun. It's fun. Shout out to the beautiful queens that have come and joined in. Beautiful beloved sister Judith. Beautiful beloved sister Renana. And it was very good to hear that, kept everything informed. Brought those tapes to me to be able to see and kind of make a good segment and good sense about all of this stuff, because we worked in the tech industry. Same thing, brother. We worked in these industries and we have seen all of what they've done. It don't matter if you done got governmental jobs, corporate jobs, regular blue collar jobs. We have seen what these people have done to us on a consistent basis. It's just the fact that we got our upper echelon brothers and sisters acting like they're snubbing their nose up. Oh, because I'm in corporate. You're still getting treated like OJ, nigga. Still. But we're going to be all right. That's what I'm saying. We're going to be all right. We're going to make this happen. We're going to keep flying to the sky. So thank you guys for all joining in. I'm trying to make this every afternoon, 12 p.m., 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. So I'm going to start making sure that I put that in my notes or whatever promotion that I got to be able to keep that going. But yeah, I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow, but I got some stuff. But man, y'all enjoy your night.